Morning, Tim.
Morning, big fella.
You know, Ryan, I probably would have wore MTSU stuff if someone had given it to me when I lived in Nashville, but it was weird yesterday because our buddy who's the SID at FAU sent some stuff to us. FIU, rather. And I was wearing a 305 shirt with a Panther on it, and it just felt weird. It felt weird. That's all I can say. But you know the phrase in the media, if it's free, it's for me.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this final Tuesday in April. Hope your week got off to a good start. And thanks so much for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's a tough one today because I got to go back to Tampa, maybe for the last time for, a permanent vacation. A lot of begging going to go on today in my doctor's appointment. That's all I know. If I have to get on my hands and knees and beg Dr. Kamani to let me come home for good on Friday, I will do whatever it takes because I've got accustomed to my own bed again. It is a wonderful place. I forgot how important a good bed can be to one's sanity after sleeping between hospital beds and a twin bed over at the Hope Lodge. That my sleep number bed, look at that, a free ad for somebody, is just wonderful. But we'll see. We'll find out today. Heading back after the show.
Well, if I could make a suggestion, don't be on your hands and knees when he walks in the room. Okay, be sitting in the chair, looking good, feeling good, and then at some point drop down onto the knees. I think you can even clutch his lower leg.
Okay. You're onto something because he's going to put me on the examining table at some point, to breathe. Breathe, deep breaths. That's big. Right. And when I hop off that table, I'm going to leap off, go to hands and knees and clutch his legs. Please let me go home.
Please send me back. Please send me back. Right.
So interesting little sports night last night. If you're into the playoffs, there's a little bit going on. This Orlando Magic team now on the verge of doing something pretty historic. 8s don't beat 1s, and they've got the Pistons in a bind because, I watched a decent chunk last night. And David, as someone who's not watched any NBA playoffs thus far, watching the game, one team looks like they should be the 1 seed. One team looks like they should be the 8 seed, and they're not who they're supposed to be.
Well, it was a close game throughout. Game was tied late, but Orlando making the plays, and Detroit seems to be a one-man team.
And that one man is playing some of his worst basketball all year. He didn't turn it over at all during the season. Had an average of, 3 turnovers a game, something like that. He's averaging 6 turnovers in this series. Had, I think, 8 or 9 last night. So even their best player struggling at times. I mean, there was they're trying to get back in the game. There's a 3-on-1 break, and he throws a bounce pass into a guy's ankles. I mean, just stuff that you don't see at that level. But down 3-1, can Orlando now get just one more against the Pistons?
Well, Orlando has blown 3-1 leads before, but usually that Doc Rivers had to be the head coach. Hello. Is it too early for that, or is it okay?
David, I got a button for that.
I know you do.
I've got a button for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, he's added new toys to the new studio back in the cozy confines of the Miller residence, and it comes with a bunch of buttons. Get ready. That's all I can say. Get ready for the rest of 2026 and beyond.
Anything to make myself laugh at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's what we need in this world. But
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
This is the beauty of sports, though. Okay, if you think about it, this team hates their coach. The Orlando Magic. They don't like their coach. They don't want their coach. It would seemingly take a run to at least the conference finals. But then again, Mark, we saw that last year in New York, that not even that can keep your job. All right. They don't like their coach. There were large parts of the season where they didn't play hard for their coach. They began the playoffs and the play-in with a lackluster effort on the road in Philadelphia. Not exactly a juggernaut team.
Well, especially if Philadelphia that night without an Embiid, and Paul George did play, but I mean, no Embiid in that game. It seemingly looked like an opportunity for Orlando to quickly move on and get themselves in the playoffs. And they blanked the bed.
Right. And so then, okay, they come home and they beat Charlotte. Whatever. Okay. And then all of a sudden, because it's the playoffs, because these guys really do care, even if it's just about themselves and winning, okay, that they're going to play their oomph off. They want to win. If I had to spend 7+ months with this coach I don't like, we might as well win in the spring. We might as well at least get to May. And sure enough, Mark, in this series, this is the team that we thought we were going to see for much of the year. Bane adding the key outside shooting when they need it, defensively able to lock down on an opponent that was non-existent this year. Now, it's not like Bane's getting a lot of help either, but Paolo and company giving them a little bit. And Cade seems on an island.
Oh, there's no doubt. Not getting anything from Dort, not getting anything from anybody else. The three-point shooter they got there from where it was in Miami a couple of years ago, he's doing nothing for him. And what you talked about, though, what Orlando at their core is a very good defensive basketball team. That's really who they are. That's their statement. And you know what? We don't usually equal out college and pro basketball, but the point you always make about the tournament, the thing you said throughout this year's tournament, teams that don't play defense find a way in the tournament to do what? Play defense. And here is Orlando in this series playing terrific defense, forcing a lot of turnovers. Detroit last night shot 20% from three, 38% from the floor. So, I mean, when you're able to do those things, hell, you give yourselves a really good chance to win. And now they're a game away from winning the series.
And this is what they were capable of all year. But then again, I mean, maybe they're just following the Miller and Moulton, scouting report. There's no sense paying attention to the NBA regular season. And maybe the Magic took it to heart. Maybe they would cash those checks, okay, put up necessary stats to get certain contracts and won just enough games to be able to play their way in. And now here we are. Mark, I thought only the Miami Heat could do this and they needed a Jimmy Butler. Now Orlando's going to do it? What, are the Heat and the Magic going to start taking up like the Lightning and the Panthers? I mean, the 8's taking down the 1s in the East? Seems to be a Florida thing.
But Orlando, at least for now, has figured it out. And the toughest thing to do, and this is where both the NBA and NHL are equal, is to close a team out. That's why we actually have to give a little more credit to Carolina and Colorado. Yeah, they were the 1 seeds, but on the road against desperate teams trying to continue their season, they were able to close out both. So now, can Orlando take down the 1 seed Pistons up 3-1? Fun night in hockey last night. The Pens now put a little pressure on the Flyers. For those of you that are interested in Sid the Kid and Malkin and Cross and Letang, combined age about 120.
Right.
And Letang with the big goal last night on a mess in front of the net, giving the Penguins the lead, and then they would hold on to defeat Philadelphia. By the way, this Crosby guy, pretty good on faceoffs. Just in. It mattered late, and Crosby just owned the faceoff circle.
It was hysterical. It was hysterical. He was maybe 50-50 on faceoffs throughout the game, and that's a bad night for Sidney Crosby. He's very good on faceoffs, but he was having a rough night on faceoffs. And then sure enough, in the last couple minutes, the Flyers got like 5 faceoffs deep in the Penguin zone, and Crosby goes 5-0. Just won them all. Didn't matter what side they put him on. Didn't matter who they sent out there. In fact, the Flyers often got to pick the side because it was a Penguins icing. They would pick the side they want. They put the guy out they'd want taking the face off. It was supposedly Crosby's weak side, 5-0 on faceoffs.
I did have to laugh at the end of the game, and I don't know how many of you paid attention or even watched it. But at the end of the game, a little brouhaha. I mean, that's just kind of the way this series has gone. And Crosby gets hit, and everybody gets in a scrum. And who separates but the 19-year-old for Philadelphia with the 39-year-old defenseman from Pittsburgh?
Right.
And I got a kick out of that. I'm like, that's just awesome. That is just awesome. And then Vegas comes back in the third to tie it. They went in double overtime to even that series. Denver looks like they, now with Minnesota all banged up, Denver actually the favorite, down 3-2 in the series, but they won last night. So a pretty good sports night, and OKC did what they were supposed to do in taking out the Suns. But the Rays, a little come from behind late last night against the Guardians to get another win. Hey, David, guess what? The Rays, couple games in a row, what's showing up?
Mark, what did they find?
Pitching, David.
Look at that. And Mark, since they found their pitching, what have they done?
They've won.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah. Yep. And I wonder if the Phillies and Mets are paying attention. Yes, they won before they fired their coach, but the Red Sox have now won a few in a row after firing their coach. Is something going to happen with the other two teams that are woefully underachieving in baseball?
Oh, I hope not. Honestly, I don't want to see a guy scapegoated. It's the players' fault. Hold the players accountable. Come on now.
We will talk a little NFL draft today. We'll take a look at all the Florida teams. Chris Perkins, Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick, all to join the show. The starting 25 minutes away.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Had to laugh. I snuck out to a little restaurant last night, even though I'm not supposed to necessarily eat that food. I took a little bit of a chance last night. And at a place where, well, the workers speak English as a second language, Rays on one TV, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh on the other. I was in heaven. It's a great line. It's great writing. Come on. You want some airtime? Get up. Come on. You dumb effer. Mm-hmm. Good enough show. You can get through it in 7 days and take the free 7-day trial, watch it, and cancel it. And I will say, if you're a fan of The Godfather, the show The Offer on Paramount's excellent. Yeah, it's called The Offer. It's about the making of The Godfather. No, you said it right the first time. Offer. The Offer. It's about like I said, it's about the making of The Godfather. It's if you like The Godfather, it's brilliant. The guy who plays Coppola, and I don't know what Coppola sounds like because I've never. I've got 2 left. I'll finish it this week. And then a lot of people are moving me towards Mobland, both some of you guys in the chat room and a couple of friends. So that might be the one I take down next. Although my life may be coming back. I don't know how many shows I'll be watching during the day. Well, I usually can sneak one in right after our show. I'll probably exercise and then come back and lay on my fat tuchus. I mean, there's probably people that have not seen it, Deadstroke. I mean, you got to remember that's a 50-year-old movie, 54 years old. Okay. Wow, did not know that. That's cool because they obviously make her out to be a very smart young lady in the show. I have been looking a lot of stuff up. Yeah, they take some creative license, but the majority of that is on point, apparently, from what, I'm like, did he really sit down with Columbo or get at a presser with Columbo? Yes, he did. Those, that stuff's real. A vast majority of it.
He didn't like Pacino.
The studio head didn't.
Yep. Kept wanting to get him replaced.
Well, I'm not really surprised by that. We kind of went through the draft yesterday of what, the teams that don't get guys drafted. I mean, Florida State had one guy drafted yesterday. One, or over the weekend, I should say. And it wasn't on the first 2 days. I would think, Puck, instead of being, you seem very negative about that. I would be quite positive. Look what he did with players that weren't good enough to play in the league.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X on this final Tuesday of April. In our 8 a.m. Eastern hour, we'll begin zeroing in on the Florida NFL teams and their draft with the beat people that we have covering those teams for us here on Miller and Moulton, the starting five in a little more than 15 minutes time. By the way, I got us 2 Derby guests.
Fantastic. I'm going to make at least 2 Derby bets. So one for each guest.
Well, my understanding is your wife's making like 4.
Well, she's got 4 names that she likes. So I will make the $24 bet to box the 4 horses in a $1 trifecta box. I believe that's a $24 bet if memory serves me right.
Okay. So we got longtime horse racing columnist Dick Girardi Thursday at 7:38 Eastern, and then we've got Kurt Becker Friday at 7:38 Eastern. So
see if they agree on anything.
Yeah, and we will dig into the Derby. I will say, just starting to do some homework, there are some fascinating storylines. That's usually what we get into. I mean, NBC has to have something to talk about for that. What's it? 3 hours, 20 minutes, 4 hours they do before they, the 2 minutes of racing.
Oh, yeah. I think they come on at 2.
Well, but they actually cover some, races. But, at like 4, they actually, all they do is talk about the Derby the rest of the time. It's like, oh, what time's post? Oh, I don't know, like 7:45.
They're on forever. I mean, this is like Super Bowl coverage. They're on so long.
Right.
And yeah, there's a bunch of other races, but it's not like they really do much handicapping. They go to their guys a couple of minutes before the race and say, okay, who you got in this one? They all make their bets. And then they go back. Hey, there's Rob Gronkowski. He's got a goofy hat on.
Right.
Talk to him for a second. I mean, we get a lot of people dressed up, a lot of celebrities, a lot of athletes. That's what they do for this thing.
So hopefully the weather cooperates, pretty people putting on pretty clothes, especially pretty hats. My wife stumbled upon a Derby party you guys had that we went to just yesterday. There you guys were with your hats. Okay. I look moderately dressed up. I mean, which is, a lot these days. So you
It
look
was a
good.
lot those days.
So anyway, I'm kind of, where our show airs, the Derby and the Triple Crown are very popular. Okay, maybe just about the only places in the country, along with Louisville. I mean, I swear, but for whatever reason, where our show airs, the Triple Crown is very popular. So we'll do some Derby prep Thursday, Friday.
No doubt. It's amazing because Louisville watches all three races. Baltimore only really watches the Preakness.
Yep.
And the New York numbers for the Belmont are what they are. Obviously, they're bigger for the Belmont than the other races. But yes, Fort Myers Naples market, where we originated, is always a top Derby market, top 2 or 3 in the country. And then St. Pete is Tampa St. Pete's another very big horse racing market as well. So we'll give you a little Derby coverage later this week.
Getting back to the playoffs for a second. Do you feel badly for the Timberwolves? Do you think they can win? Their best player's out. They're a key role player, if you will, is out. Okay, they just need one game against Denver. I don't know if they got the horses to win one more game against Denver.
I don't think that they do. I mean, David, they could have won, getting to 3-1. DiVincenzo's been out. He missed game 4, too. I mean, he's been out for a couple games, right?
Right.
So they obviously could have won in the series without him.
Right.
But if they would have lost Anthony Edwards and had DiVincenzo, could they have stolen one of the last 3? Possibly. He can get hot, make a bunch of threes, and that might be a recipe at home to get a victory. But without a key role guy and without your best player, and now, you're not playing Houston here. You're playing a team with some pedergree.
Right.
And I think that does make a difference. And look, I was stunned they got to 3-1 because I didn't think they were, before their 7-game series a year ago, I thought one team got better, one team got a little worse. And I didn't think Minnesota was a team that got better.
Yeah, Minnesota loves their matchup with Denver. They love playing Denver. Okay. They just do. It's interesting. They relish it. They take it right to Jokic. And they tell them they're going to do it, and they do it. It's a fascinating matchup. Because the Lakers, when you watch them play Denver, you get the sense they want no part of the big fella. None at all. When can we play someone else? So, and I thought, either way, Denver or Minnesota, I thought either was an intriguing second-round matchup for the Spurs because they don't reseed in the NBA. That's the thing. Like, if the Magic pull the upset, they don't play the Celtics, who are going to advance here and be the potentially best remaining seed in the East. That's not how it works in the NBA. They don't reseed. So Magic will play the winner of the Cavs Raptors, in which all of a sudden you're thinking, are the Orlando Magic going to go on a run?
Well, I was stunned the Cavs lost both games in Toronto because I actually like that Cavs team a little bit. I think they've got good players. For whatever reason, they seemingly, because the effort wasn't great in Toronto. So we'll see with that one. But, you only get so many opportunities in the playoffs. This is where you can't screw things up. Like here, the Magic have been given a great opportunity. Don't screw it up. Sure, you can lose game 5, but then you get game 6 at home. I kind of look at that series the same way I'm looking at Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Does home ice court mean a whole hell of a lot? I think it does in game 7. I do. And I know history's shown us it only matters in the final series in game 7. But like if you're the Flyers, better get it done in game 6. Now you've got all the pressure on you. And that's the thing. If Detroit wins game 5 at home against Orlando, well, then the pressure shifts back to right now. Magic are going to play loose. They had nothing. They're playing with house money in Detroit. for Game 5.
Well, and they've already hit the over. Thank you, boys. Thank you. Portland got one, Philly got one, and Orlando's gotten 3. So thank you, boys. Appreciate it. But, man, we thought there was a possibility we could get 5 wins out of the 4 1 and 2 seeds. We didn't think anybody was winning a series. I thought there was a chance one of the 4 series would go 6. But damn.
Yeah, one of them might go 6. The 1-8 series with Detroit and Orlando. It's just Orlando might be done with Detroit after 6. And I did think last night in the fourth quarter that Paulo, yeah, they've made the playoffs, they play in. He looked comfortable last night in the fourth quarter. I thought he looked comfortable, if you know what I mean, David.
Well, he should be. I mean, what is this, his 3rd playoff run? I mean, they went 7 with Cleveland in the first round a couple years back, and they should be comfortable. This team was supposed to be the breakthrough team. It'll be remarkable if they actually do win this series and are in the second round of the playoffs. It's like, where you guys been? And I could see Paulo and them looking at the GM going, don't change your mind about the coach now. Okay.
Well, I mean,
hey, don't like them.
Right. There have been other places where they've done it. Other really good franchises that had no problem after playoff runs getting rid of a coach in that sport.
Right.
Go look at the history of the sport.
Yep.
So, I don't think that coach is safe even if he gets through this series.
I don't either. I'm telling you, I think the players are looking over going, remember New York last year? They got to the conference finals. They fired their coach. Don't get any ideas that we like playing for him.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I had to laugh, and going through those ticket stubs yesterday, I found a Yankees-Tigers game. I sent it to my buddy who I went to the game with. We went with his dad and his dad's girlfriend. We met him there. And then he and I drove to Windsor after, picked up a case of Canadian beer and drove home while drinking said case of beer. He goes, I don't remember any of that. He remembered 2 other stories that I didn't remember, but that's what happens when you get, wait for it, old.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Thanks for being with us on this final Tuesday of April. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
And we'll start with the NBA. The Orlando Magic, a win away from taking out the 1 seed in the East. Tied at 85 with a few minutes to play. Magic outscored the Pistons 9-3. Bain with 22, including 5 threes. Orlando 94, Detroit 88. The Orlando Magic trying to win their first playoff series since Stan Van Gundy, Dwight Howard, and the 2010 Orlando Magic, the year after they went to the finals and lost to Kobe and the Lakers. They won their first 2 playoff series of 2010 before losing the conference finals to the Celtics. 16 years since the Magic have won a playoff series. They're a game away. Cade Cunningham, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, but the stat line a little better than actually how he's played. Game 5 tomorrow night in Detroit. Can the Pistons stay alive? As expected, OKC swept Phoenix, 131-122, the final. SGA with 31 in the sweep. They await to play the winner of the Lakers and the Rockets. LA's up 3-1 in that series. Denver stayed alive. Jokic a triple-double, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. They beat Minnesota at home, 125-113. T-Wolves, no Anthony Edwards, no Dante DiVincenzo. Can they close the Nuggets out in Minneapolis Thursday night, Game 6? Vegas says no. Nuggets actually the betting line favorite to win the series, despite being down 3-2. 3 playoff games tonight. Atlanta and New York to face the Knicks. Series tied at 2. Boston at home for Philly, trying to take care of the Sixers in 5. Same for San Antonio at home against Portland, trying to take care of the Blazers in 5. Rookie of the year, for those that care, Cooper Flagg narrowly edging his former Duke teammate, Con Knuppel. All right. There were quite a few that thought Knuppel was going to win and should win, but Flagg got 56 of the 100 first-place votes. Knuppel got the other 44. So there. You're still into those award things. Hockey. Penguins were down 3-spit. Won Game 4 in Philly, and last night won Game 5 in Pittsburgh. Led 2-0. Flyers came back and tied it. And then the Penguins, they got a break. Letang threw one off the back glass. It bounced in front. Goalie lost track of it, hit him in the back of the leg, and literally crossed the goal line by like 3 inches.
Here's the thing. We saw that one cross the line, unlike the overtime goal from the night before. We all know the overtime goal was in, but there's no evidence that clearly shows it.
No, there's common sense that says it was in, but the great debate was it was called a goal, and we're talking about Edmonton, Anaheim, and 99.9% we're all sure it was a goal. Is there video proof of it? Not exactly. But there's pieces of equipment and where the puck was lodged under and where the equipment was, and you're like, well, that's across the goal line. But Mark, the great debate yesterday was, it was a lot easier to confirm the call on the ice because the call on the ice was a goal.
Right.
What if the call on the ice had not been a goal? Would they have had the onions to, quote, use common sense, unquote, to say that's a goal, Anaheim wins 3-1 Ducks? And let's face it, none of us know if the NHL would have had the onions to do it, especially against a beloved Canadian franchise. So Vegas has a 3-0 lead on Utah last night. And then Utah scores 4 in a row. Vegas ties it mid-third. And then after having the game-winning goal disallowed, Shea Theodore ends it for Vegas. 5-4, Golden Knights in overtime to tie their series with the Mammoth at 2. Game 5 tomorrow night, back in Vegas. Game 5 in Buffalo tonight. The Sabres with a win would eliminate the Bruins. The last time Buffalo won a playoff series in hockey, 2007. Yes, the George W. Bush administration. 7:30 TNT. The best or second best series going is at 8 o'clock on ESPN2. And that's the Wild and the Stars in Dallas. Game 5, series tied at 2. And then 10 o'clock tonight, we'll see if Edmonton can stay alive. They've been in back-to-back finals. Well, they're down 3-1, hosting Anaheim, 10 o'clock on TNT. Could it be a very early offseason for Connor McDavid and company? And if it is, let the trade rumors begin. Baseball. Rays down 2-0 and 2-1 in the 8th. Get a homer and a key hit. Little 2-run rally. And then the bullpen holds on. 3-2 Rays over Cleveland. That's a 5-game winning streak, ladies and gentlemen. That's the second best record in the American League. The team with the best
I like
record.
how you phrased that, David. Second best record in the American League, because it sounds really good. As badly as the American League's going, it's still good.
Well, yeah. And let's face it, if you're the Rays, you're trying to contend. If you can sneak into the playoffs, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Just letting everybody know with May on the horizon that the Rays have the second best record in the American League at 17-11. Game and a half, I believe, behind the Yankees, who won 9 of 10. Went into Texas, beat the Rangers 4-2. So Judge and this Ben Rice kid, they went back-to-back. So apparently they've done something now which no pair of Yankees have done since 1956. The names of those Yankees were Mantle and Berra. So apparently they both have 10 or more homers in their first 29 games.
As a team, David, the Yankees are out homering their opponents 46-26. Oh, yeah, by the way, only the Dodgers have allowed less runs than the Yankees.
4-2 Yankees over Texas. So Boston scored 17 runs Saturday. Fired just about everybody who had a uniform on. Brought in an interim manager, some interim coaches. Apparently the players were furious, like screaming and yelling curses at their bosses. They've had meetings with their bosses each of the last 2 days to try to, in their minds, tell them how to run a team better. Well, something's happened, though, because the Red Sox then won Sunday and the Red Sox then won Monday.
You know what that is, David? That's a winning streak.
Yes, it is, Mark. Ranger Suarez, 8 shutout innings. Boston, 5-0 over the Blue Jays. A winning streak. And as we mentioned yesterday, since the American League, it seems to be a court order that you need to be around 500 or just below. Boston's only like 2 games out of the playoffs, despite their slow start. Padres beat the Cubs 9-7. Ty France at 4 RBIs for San Diego. But one of the neat streaks, if you will, in sports is over. Mason Miller had not allowed a run dating back to last year in 34 2/3 innings, the Padres closer. He gave up 2 in the 9th, but the Padres still won. Pete Fairbanks blew it in the 9th for the Marlins. They had a 4-2 lead on the Dodgers. LA scored 3 times. Fairbanks allowed 3 walks and a hit. And eventually Kyle Tucker, 2 out, 2 on, 2 RBI single, won it for the Dodgers. Fairbanks, who was their one big money offseason acquisition, to come in and close as an ERA of 10. Cardinals with 4 in the 9th after being no hit into the 7th beat the Pirates 4-2. White Sox with 7 in the 7th. The Murakami guy homered again. They rallied to beat the Angels 8-7.
That's 12, by the way, for Murakami over there.
One more than Judge.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Twins snap a 5-game skid. Cody Clemens a homer and 5 RBIs. They beat Seattle 11-4. Max Scherzer, Giancarlo Stanton, both now on the injured list. NFL, 3rd highest rated first round of the draft ever, did $13.2 million. Apparently last year's draft was number 2 and the COVID year was number 1. We're all thrilled to be watching some original TV programming. Between now and Friday, teams have to decide whether or not they're picking up the 5th-year option on, the class of 2023 first rounders. Saints, who acquired defensive end Tyree Wilson from Vegas, declined his option. Eagles did pick up the 5th-year options on both Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Bucs did pick up the 5th-year option on defensive tackle Kalijah Kancey. Did you hear the story about the Texas Tech quarterback?
Oh, yes, I did. The former Bearcat that was the prized QB in the portal. Turned down Miami, turned down a couple of others to go to Texas Tech, where the money is. And money's the key phrase with this young man.
Well, apparently Brendan Sorsby likes to gamble. So much so that when he was a backup at Indiana, even though he only played in 1 game, he placed bets on Indiana football. I don't see how this guy's ever going to play college football again, but he's seeking counseling for a gambling addiction while the NCAA investigates. Yeah, this investigation shouldn't take too long, even for the NCAA. And remember when Louisiana Tech was both a member of the Sun Belt and Conference USA, and both conferences released a schedule for the upcoming season? Okay, and it had Louisiana Tech playing 20 conference games. Well, obviously Louisiana Tech and or the Sun Belt has paid off Conference USA because they're leaving a year early and they're joining the Sun Belt.
So they're back to a 12-game schedule?
It's back to a 12-game schedule, yes.
Good for them. It was going to seem taxing on a lot of their players to play 2 games in the same day, in football.
Well, but also, the Thursday-Saturday doubleheaders looked awkward.
They did.
They just did. And finally, LIV, I don't want to say that they have issues, but they had a tournament scheduled for late June in New Orleans. Yeah, they canceled it. Their next scheduled tournament's a week from Thursday at Trump's course in Sterling, Virginia. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was starting five big stories you need to know here on Miller and Moulton.
David, I may have missed it because I was looking up a few things. If you did put this in there, I apologize. But another young prospect called up, and I really just wanted to get this in because I like his name. The Guardians call up their young hotshot prospect, Travis Benzana. I just, any name that gives me two Z's, I'm a fan of this kid. He's like the 16th rated prospect in the sport. He's their young stud. He'll take over at second base.
And he also sounds like he could play for the Savannah Bananas.
100%. How about that league? Has like 47 teams in it now. I mean, they took that from the Bananas playing one team. There's like 5 teams in that league. They're all over the place.
Russell Wilson made an appearance in a game last night.
Probably did better at that than he did playing quarterback recently. Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
First off, I mean, I don't know how much money he had at the start of this. Last year, he probably got paid something by Cincinnati, but he didn't get his money until Texas Tech. I don't know what Cincinnati was paying him. I can't think since maybe if he got $1 million from Cincinnati, some of you are Bearcat fans in here, you might know that would seem a bit excessive for him. But likes a little action, man. I get it. I like a little action. Exactly. That's right. Use that. You're right. They wanted $1 million back, didn't they, Dratharian? Now that I think of it, they're still suing him.
Yeah, Sonny and Bama supposedly secured the best quarterback in the country, and Texas Tech secured their third 5-star offensive lineman. Tell you what, Texas Tech ain't messing around at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's the went to Miami. Much more subdued crowd at the school soccer game than at any of the rec games I've ever been to in any sport. Imagine those parents weren't yelling and screaming at people. They just watched. It was pretty wonderful.
So school atmosphere much better than rec.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this final Tuesday of April. Thanks so much for being with us. Next hour, Roy Cummings and Chris Perkins will join us as we'll look back at the Bucs and Dolphins draft. 2 hours from now, JP Shadrick will join us as we will get into, okay, JP, everybody's knocking the Jags draft. Okay, you were there. Just tell us what it is they said, because they feel they hit it out of the park.
Right. He will defend it. He's already had to do so on a couple of shows. That, by the way, is his job. You brought up to me the most interesting story in the sports world yesterday during the starting five, and that is the now quarterback for Texas Tech in serious trouble for gambling. Brendan Sorsby is going to rehab for gambling. He's made apparently numerous bets on college athletics. or on everything. And that's what we'll find out what he's bet on. But the NCAA, David, they have rules.
They do.
And yes, they do. But I love their rules because they are very NCAA. They're actually not rules, they're guidelines.
They're suggestions?
Yeah, I believe so. Any player who wagers on their own games or on other sports at their own school will, and this is the key word, potentially face permanent loss of eligibility in all sports. If the player wagers on their own sport at another school, the player could, keyword, could lose 50% eligibility of one season. Then they've got monetary losses. If you bet more than 800, you can be in big. That's apparently for whatever reason. If the wager is
celebrating
whoa,
30 years
whoa,
in Naples,
whoa,
is proud to be the exclusive
whoa,
Faro
whoa,
and Ball
whoa, whoa.
dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to
That's
come from
on
the
me.
UK since the Beatles.
Don't know how
Faro
that
and Ball
happened.
has the colors and paints that
Don't know how that happened. Apologies. Hit a button. Didn't even mean to. 800. If you bet 801, David, that's when you can get a lot of eligibility loss. If it's 501 to 800, it's 30% of the season. And of course, education. 201 to 500, 10% of the season. Again, education. And less than $200, you just got to seek some counseling. But again, the key thing is that these are suggestions. Now, by all accounts, this kid made a ton of bets.
Yeah,
I don't know how he can be eligible to play for Texas Tech this year.
I mean, isn't there a report that he's made like 1,000 of them?
Yes. Even if they were all for $1, that seems to be more than 800. And he is being sued by Cincinnati for $1 million. I believe that's the number.
Is that a parlay gone wrong, or is that for?
I see what you did there.
Thanks.
I like that.
Appreciate it. But now I'm just going to throw this out there. Listen, the kid should never play college athletics again. Okay. He bet on his own team while he was at Indiana. I don't care if he was a scrub quarterback and he only played one game. You can't bet on your own team. You're out. That's it. You're done. You've lost your eligibility. Sorry, not letting you back in. Now, with that being said, what right does the NCAA have to determine any kind of penalty based on how much money you bet? Are they paying the players? Is the NCAA stroking checks to these players? Okay. The answer is no. So then how the hell can the NCAA have any jurisdiction over the amount of money that's bet?
Well, then, I mean, David, the way you're talking, and I know you hate them. I get it, and I understand all the reasons why. So outside of just disbanding the NCAA, should there be any ruling body in college athletics?
No, Mark, you're totally missing the point. First off, I can't believe that the NCAA has the word could and possibly. No. It should be ironclad. The kid should be done. No, you can't cross those lines. That's absurd. Okay. He shouldn't be allowed to play college athletics anymore. Okay. That is one. I mean, apparently the NCAA is still leaving the door open for the kid, which I think is preposterous. But who are they? We're going to fine you based on how much you bet. I'm sorry. You paying me? Okay. Is this your money? Okay. No. Then shut up. You don't have any jurisdiction over the amount of money I bet. Besides, Miami's paying me $4 million to play quarterback. Okay. What business is it of yours? I'll do whatever I want with the money as long as it's within the rules. Okay. I just don't think they can have it both ways. First off, I wish they'd come down a lot harder on if you gamble on your own school, you're done.
I guess I understand. I mean, to me, I just who should be allowed to suspend kids then? Because you said the NCAA should have no jurisdiction on this. So
no. You're not listening to me. Okay, they should have total jurisdiction on the kid gambled on Indiana football while a backup quarterback at Indiana. The NCAA should just ban the kid. They had total jurisdiction. Their language is wishy-washy. You read it. Could, possibly. Hell no. No, definitely will is what those words should be. Now, the whole thing, though, about we get to penalize you based on how much you gambled? No. You don't have anything to do with the money in the sport. Just you've got your lane. Enforce the out of it. What does it matter to you if the kid bets $20 or $800? But the kid bet on the school he was at while he was there. He's done.
So do you think they should be able to gamble, period? And let's just take college sports out. Should a college athlete, in your opinion, be allowed to bet on the NFL, on Major League Baseball, on basketball, on hockey? I don't give a damn. Anything but college athletics.
Well, I definitely think they should be allowed to gamble because you can't have it be illegal for them and legal for the rest of the 18 to 24-year-olds. Okay? I mean, that violates a lot of laws.
You can't bet on other sports, can you, if you're playing baseball?
Okay, well, there's a professional sport.
So it's this now. I mean,
I know, but the NCAA actually came out a year ago. Remember, first they penalized all those Iowa players,
right.
Iowa and Iowa State.
Yep.
Remember, they were the only football players who were doing any kind of gambling of any kind on college athletics. And then they came out like a year later and they said, well, if it's legal in your state and you qualify, then yeah, you can gamble. But what should be, to me, it should be like baseball's golden rule. Okay. I mean, what is the one thing you absolutely positively cannot do? Okay, you can't bet on baseball, but you definitely can't bet on your team.
And David, look I understand. I think, and I understand their rules. I was asking you what you do because to me, while they're playing college athletics, I don't know if you can allow them to bet on anything. I understand other 18 to 24-year-olds can gamble. I also understand that if you get these kids in situations, all of a sudden we've got Chauncey Billups, that we've got someone that we can take advantage of. And that would worry me with college athletes. That's all.
I think the NCAA can win in court if they came out and they said, listen, a college kid cannot bet on any of the sports that are played at the school he is at or she is at. Okay, any of them. They got 24 sports. They can't bet on their school in any of those sports because obviously they can get inside information. Okay, so no. If you're at Indiana, you can't bet on any University of Indiana sports, but you can bet on the rest of college sports. You don't have any inside information. I mean, you may, but
I think you do. I mean,
I know, but
in the AAU world that these kids live in, I think they all know one another. So,
Mark, if your son and my son, and obviously this has to be a hypothetical because I don't have one. Okay, they're rooming together. Your son's the athlete. Okay, he obviously can't bet on, in our world, he can't bet on, we'll just pick his alma mater, any East Carolina athletics. But by rule, law, whatever, he can bet on any of the other 350 colleges. Okay, why? Because my son can bet on them too. And I think it should be unfair that your son can't bet on any of the other 350 schools just because he's good enough to be a college athlete? No. Now he can't bet on anything that's moving on that campus. No, that I think the NCAA can pass that rule and that rule can hold up in court. I don't think the NCAA legally or otherwise has any right to talk about penalizing people for the amount of money they bet. That's absurd. That's out of their jurisdiction.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line 21,000. Your thoughts? This is probably, I guess, the biggest because we had the Iowa and Iowa State players. We had an Indiana player a couple of years ago on something different. But this is now a quarterback who, one, is being sued for $1 million by the University of Cincinnati
Right.
for NIL money owed back to them. Really easy way to do this, guys, called contracts and making them employees. But they're not going to do that. That is not happening, at least by the end of the decade, in my opinion. I mean, there doesn't seem to be anybody other than Miller and Moulton and a handful of agents out there that think that that's what they should do. But now we've got a quarterback who was one of the most highly touted transfers in the country, picks Texas Tech, now entering gambling rehab. And whether or not he plays this year is very much in jeopardy. I'm with David. I don't see any way that this kid ever plays another game of collegiate sports. I don't.
If so, the NCAA is more of a joke than sometimes we think it is. I mean, come on. I mean, this is a layup, boys. I mean, this is easy. This investigation should be over by lunch. You should come out this afternoon and ban this kid for the rest of his college eligibility. I don't care if the courts give him 17 years of eligibility. He can't play college sports again.
Miller and Moulton. I think this could lead to a poll question. Should college athletes be able to gamble on college sports, period? I know it's a fine line, but it would be nice if the NCAA would make a rule. A rule.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Perks 838, I believe. Thank you for what, Paul? Oh, Perk, I didn't know who asked the question. Sorry. No problem. JP's at 9, Perk's at 8:38, Roy's at 8. Brian, it does open up issues, but I think the issues are worth it. One, you can limit how long they play. You can say an employee is only eligible to play college sports until 5 years post graduation from high school. There's a lot of I'm with you. I know there opens up a lot of other issues. I think it gets rid of other issues, though. I think you can actually then cap what they make. And I think that's the most important thing right now, Brian. I have no problem with these guys getting paid. I never have. They are being paid by the university with that, basically that $20 million cap per school, but they're also getting paid by the NIL. And now they're saying that the Learfields and the companies that are doing the broadcast aren't part of the money. So if you make them employ, you actually could, Jim. You actually could. And I don't know how long. I mean, certain schools can just dig into the NIL. I guess there's that much money. But how long can that last, Jim? That's my question. And I guess there's that much money out there.
Jeez.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Roy Cummings, Chris Perkins, JP Shadrick, all to join us beginning in about 40 minutes as we drill down on the Dolphins, the Bucs, and the Jags drafts. Mark thinks the most interesting sports story of yesterday was one that got largely buried, which is Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby seeking treatment for a gambling addiction, the NCAA investigating his gambling, which is exorbitant. I mean, well done, sir. Well done. Thousands of bets as a college athlete, at least one, and I'm sure there were hundreds, but at least one when he was a backup member of the Indiana football team and he placed a bet on an Indiana football game. Now we're in agreement. That should be bye-bye, so long, farewell, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
100%.
Okay, so we disagree on a lot on this issue, but that we're in total agreement on.
Right.
Okay. Something I need to clarify. So a couple years ago, the NCAA came down hard on those Iowa and Iowa State folk. And then there was a time last year when the NCAA said, you know, it's kind of unfair that in that state and other states, those kids can gamble on everything, but we're not going to let them gamble on anything. So then they said, well, how about if you can gamble on anything but college sports? And that seemed fair, or at least we thought. Well, right before Thanksgiving, Mark, the NCAA rescinded that. They took another look at it, another vote, and they said, no, you can't. If you're a college athlete, you can't. Well, you can't bet on college or pro sports. So I don't know what you can bet on, but you can't bet on college or pro sports. Huh. Okay. So technically, that's the rule that's on the books right now. You can't bet, period.
Look, if they want to bet on pro sports, I'm fine with it. I don't think college athletes should be betting on college sports. I think that they know too many athletes. And I know your example that if my kid and your kid are roommates, the only thing I would say, and I'm sure that happens, most of the time athletes live with athletes. They don't live with those commoners very often. It happens. it happens. I get it. You know,
Right.
They might have a high school buddy and they want to live with them, but most of the time athletes are living with athletes. But in those rare occasions that they're living with the common folk can bet. And if it turns out that they got insider information, then they can punish as they see accordingly to both people. But I just think as a simple rule, college athletes should not be allowed to bet on college sports. And I am very pro gambling.
Yes, you are.
But I want the games to be on the up and up. And I don't like the idea in today's world where by age 11, these kids are playing AAU ball against one another all over the country. Hey, if you think I'm a hypocrite because of that, 21,000's a text line. Let me have it. That's fine.
All right. I just want to drill down a little bit. These are some of the things that we disagree on this. Why can't the 23-year-old college football player bet on March Madness? He's not playing in it.
I understand that he's a college athlete. He's on scholarship. That would be my rule, David. It's just that simple. They know college basketball players. They all eat in the same place. They all train at the same place.
Oh, but they don't at BYU and San Diego State. I mean, the kids at St. John's or whatever. I mean, this is my point. How come you can be a professional baseball player and you can bet on anything and everything except baseball? But as a college athlete, you can't bet on anything? I can understand you banning it on the sport you play. I totally get that. I'm in favor of it. I'll support you on it. College football players can't bet on college football, period. I mean, that seems to make sense, right? I could go along with that with no problem. But why can't they bet on college basketball?
David, I don't like where it lies. I just think these kids can get information a lot easier. They all, this is it. And look I don't know how much pro baseball players should be betting on pro basketball. I think it leads to bad things. They're all, at the professional level, these guys are all compensated in a way that they don't need to gamble. It's just a fix for them. And apparently, by what I've been told by a handful of bookie friends that I have, that there's a lot more gambling going on by pro athletes than you'd ever want to know. Now, I hear that crap all the time from some people I know. I don't always believe it. Believe it or not, I still know a handful of bookies. I like bookies. They're fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I cannot emphasize this enough. I'm very pro gambling.
Right.
They don't knock down casinos in Vegas to build smaller ones.
Okay.
The guy doesn't win very often.
But how do you justify Major League Baseball allows their players to bet on the NFL, but you're the NCAA and you're not going to allow a college athlete to bet on the NFL? How can you do that?
The college athlete can bet on the NFL. I just said the college athlete can't bet on college sports.
Okay.
All I said.
All right.
They shouldn't be allowed to bet on college sports. That's all I've said. I've never
Gotcha.
said they can't bet on the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, the PGA, the flipping Derby. I don't care.
Well, for what it's worth right now, if you're a college athlete, you can't even bet on pro sports. I mean, that's how strict their rule is. I mean, you'd agree that's absurd, right? I mean, they've gone too far.
Yes. Yes, they have. I'd let them bet on pro sports. I would.
Okay. But a line you won't cross is like, I'm totally in favor of if you play a sport in college, you can't place bets on that sport, period.
And I think I could get you to turn that college athletes couldn't bet on anything of a sport on their own campus. I think I could convince you of that.
I don't think you could.
Okay. Well, I don't know how you could. I mean, these kids, I mean, you know, I happen to just know because I was at USF and went and met with the SID, and I kept walking by a couple of buildings, and I'm like, is that where the athlete? Oh, yeah, that's the athletes all eat there. So all the athletes at that particular school all dine together. They all know. I mean, we just saw it. You know, I mean, look, it's different, but the Olympics, the men's and women's hockey team hung out together. At colleges, athletes hang out with other athletes.
Mark, with all due respect, you're going to lecture me about how college athletics works? I mean, that's hysterical.
I think okay, David, I'm wrong. You're right. Is that easier? I think you're wrong. I don't think college athletes should be allowed to gamble on college sports at their own school. I don't think they should be allowed to bet on college sports, period. But inside their own school, you think that the college basketball player at FGCU can bet on the women's team, and you think that's fine. I don't.
Well, one, I don't have a huge problem with it, but yeah, I know they can get inside information because I know as a broadcaster, I can get inside information. Okay. How about this? This is where I'll come to you. I won't let anybody, you can't bet on any sport at your school. I'll go that far. If you go to South Florida, okay, no matter what sport you play, you can't bet on a single South Florida sporting event, period, end of sentence. I'll go that far. That makes sense. There's method to the madness there. There's a thought process behind that. I can sign up for that. But I don't think if you go to South Florida and you play college baseball that you can't bet on March Madness.
And I do. I mean, that's where you and I would have to get a third party to arbitrate this because
we agree to disagree. Yeah, and that's okay. It's fine that we disagree on this. Okay? I don't think this is something to be disagreeable about. It's just betting. All right, but I just find it interesting that the NCAA, and they have it on the books, NCAA has tougher gambling rules and regulation than pro sports.
But they don't enforce them. Then there's that.
Well, right. You and I would change the wording in their rules.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I have no idea, Sonny. I'm guessing you could look that up pretty quickly. Left Twix, they could do all of that. They could. If they want to gamble, they're going to find a way. I'm trying to put every roadblock in front of that I can. And I will say that the DraftKings of the world, why David and I have always been proponents of legal gambling, is when there are irregularities on a game, they typically find out. But we're finding all this stuff out because this just in, gamblers are stupid. And those that try to fix games are largely stupid because they get caught.
Sonny, 4 years, 25 million, 15 of it in a bonus. And you could look them all up.
I have for today, leaving right after the show. Doctor's appointment. They called me yesterday, wanted to move my doctor's appointment up. I said, nope, I'm still at home. You guys gave me a weekend pass. I'm going back for the appointment on Tuesday. A lot of cords. Cats are very curious about the studio. A lot of investigating going on. Wait till the dog's here to kick your ass. I am home. I had a weekend pass. I will be going back later today. Godfather scene. By the way, that cat was a stray, and that is a true story. That was not in the script. It wasn't anything about it. There was cats on the lot, and Brando grabbed a cat.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Roy Cummings will join us then. We'll look back at the Bucs draft. Chris Perkins, 1 hour from now, we'll look back at the Dolphins draft. And a little more than an hour from now, JP Shadrick to look back at a highly questioned Jags draft.
No doubt there. Poll question: should college athletes be allowed to bet on college sports? It's up at Miller_Moulton on X, that Mark Miller on X, and it's up on our YouTube and Twitch chat rooms. You can answer however you'd like. If you're not using any of those mediums, well, then simply text us on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. 21,000 is the number. If you've never texted the show before, well, then you need to text the keyword Miller to text. One of the big stories about the draft was about a guy that wasn't drafted. Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently has a tryout agreement with the Ravens. He does not have a contract. He has a tryout agreement with the Ravens. I believe it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Yes, we got CFL teams involved in the show today. They have had his rights for a couple of years. If you were Pavia, would you go to the Ravens as a tryout, or would you go try to get paid to the Canadian League and play there for a year or two and try to increase your worth? Because I'd go to the Canadian League, David. I would.
I would also.
Worked for a lot of guys over the years. Worked for Flutie. Warren Moon, obviously, different world. But I think I'd go get paid in Canada.
I definitely would as well. First off, if he fails, if it doesn't work there, he likely is not going to get a tryout or anything this fall or winter with an NFL team. But he could come back next spring and sign on with a UFL team and try to keep his professional football career going that way. But yeah, and quite frankly, Mark, Pavia is probably better built for the CFL than he is the NFL. And what's wrong with going up there and playing a half a dozen years and running around and winning some games, throwing some touchdowns, and making a whole bunch of money?
Right. I mean, he's never won a championship. A Grey Cup's a Grey Cup.
Right.
Go Blue Bombers.
Here we go. Here we go. We're back to the toys again.
Well, I mean, when I'm talking Blue Bombers, I get excited, David.
Oh, I know. It brings us back to, the early days of the Four-Letter Network. And, there were, 2 Rough Riders? And what were there? There were 2 franchises that, you had Saskatchewan and Ottawa, right? They were the Rough Riders.
Right.
But didn't we also have 2 other franchises that shared a nickname?
I thought it was just those 2, but I'm not going to battle you on Canadian Football League history. I think that's a bad move by me.
I thought there were 2 others that shared a nickname as well. And of course, now I'm literally going through team by team and what.
Are you confusing the Alouettes with the Argonauts? I don't know, David.
I'm not. Okay. You had Hamilton was the Tiger Cats, right?
Yes, they were.
Well, you had Calgary was the Stampeders. Edmonton was the Eskimos. Oh, man. Thought there were double duplicates, but maybe there wasn't.
I can't believe I did this. This is my fault, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Now he will spend the entire break looking up CFL team nicknames. I'll tell you. And, look, down goes Canada again. It looks like their MLS team in Vancouver might be moving to Vegas because you know what Vegas needs? More protein. I mean, since we're having this gambling conversation, it's our poll question today. I mean, obviously, they had hockey first, and hockey has done very well there. They put on a show. People seem to really have bought into the team, and I'm talking local people. I mean, that's their team. They are in. Obviously, the NFL is the NFL. They're going to draw extremely well. It's a destination to go see your team when you're playing against the Raiders now. I mean, I said this many times on the show. Literally, when that happened, my wife's like, "Ooh, when the Steelers go play there, we should go." That wasn't. And I mean, when your wife is telling you we should go to Vegas, all you do is say yes.
Of course. Right.
Now, the baseball team looks as if they'll be there sometime soon, and we all believe expansion in the NBA is going to Vegas. And the MLS is clearly fifth, but I don't think it's that far behind the NHL anymore, David. Not, you know, the television numbers aren't there, but the salaries are going up. I mean, people pay attention. The crowds are there. They draw in a lot of markets. So, 5-sport pro town, and then what, they have a WNBA team there too, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
So,
absolutely. And it's won championships, and they damn near sell out that arena. Oh, yeah. Very popular. The Aces.
So, I mean, I just find it the irony of 21st century sports that we essentially are going to have 6 pro teams in Las Vegas by the end of the decade.
Right. When Tony Romo was threatened with a lifetime ban for, I don't know,
a fantasy football summit.
Right. In
Not even hosting, being a speaker at a fantasy football summit.
Right. That was in Vegas in, I believe, 2014. And Roger Goodell threatened to ban him and light him on fire on site if he were to continue with the gig. Yep.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And by the end of this decade, we'll have 37 sports in Vegas. Right.
Not to mention that we have DraftKings and FanDuel all advertising with the NFL, or at least one of them is, the other one buying what they can. And the futures markets can't spend enough money on pro sports, even though apparently the futures markets are not gambling on pro sports.
Right.
Even though I think like 80% of the money they make is on gambling on pro sports.
Right. Uh-huh.
I think that's the number. I just happened to watch a pretty decent story on that. It doesn't take into account, you know, those that are betting on wars and things like that.
Right. And
because they don't have any insider information at all.
No,
they make college athletes look like they're choir boys.
I was going to say, you're worried about the athletic storm. Okay, there's 2 or 3 guys making a killing on this conflict. But we'll leave it at that.
Right. Well, they've been doing it on Wall Street with futures for a long time, too.
Exactly.
So it's really nothing new, David.
Yep.
No, we stay in our lane.
True.
And that lane is lane 10, and it's slick.
I was going to say there's 535 people in Washington who seem to know what's happening right before it happens too. Man, they've gotten rich. Huh? How did that happen?
Just look at both sides of what they're worth when they get in and what they're worth when they get out.
Unbelievable. So anyway, back to betting.
And by the way, you know, the poll, the text line, I put it up on X, and I know you got hacked, so you're done with that medium. I still get a daily direct message from you. Thank you.
Oh, do I? What am I selling now?
No, you got a Rolex and a car. That's all I know.
Right.
You're doing very well.
Right. And it's all because of what's that currency that I'm not a part of?
Crypto.
Right. Crypto. Right. Because when you think someone who would get involved in crypto, you think me. Right.
But the text line is overwhelmingly no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. No one's going to be on my side. Absolutely not. No, screw the kids. Doesn't matter what your individual rights are. And no, doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if we're more draconian with college athletes than we are with other adults who do other things. Oh, no. Mark, I knew your side is the right side to be on. There's no way I'm getting elected anything with my stance on this issue. No, nothing. I can't get elected in Vegas. I don't know if I can get elected for anything on this issue. Oh, no. I know I'm way too liberal on this issue. No.
But the question is, should college athletes be allowed to bet on college sports? You can go to our YouTube or Twitch page. You can go to X. You can go to the text line and offer up your response. It actually looks a little bit like X is getting a handful of votes for a change. Not a lot.
Oh.
Not a lot. So I hopefully they fixed whatever was going on there. But texters have been coming out that, just saying they have inside access. That's what people think. Now, we do have a couple people on your side that are just saying a bunch of hypocrites. And if you want to call me that, that's fine. Because literally when I put no down as an answer, I am very pro-gambling. I put the pro-gambling part in capital letters. I have been very pro-gambling for a long, long time. And I will continue to be pro-gambling. I gamble. Not very well.
Now, the two areas, though, where we're in complete agreement. First off, and it's not just this Texas Tech quarterback. Okay, you place a bet on the team that you're a part of. Oh, your eligibility is over. Done. Instantly done. Don't care if it's $3. I don't care at all. No, you're done. And you and I have no problem making it so that if you're an athlete at a particular school, you can't bet on any of the sports that take place at that school. Can't do it. No, there's way too many potential conflicts. And, you could not just the whole athletic dorm, you could be having classes with people who play other sports. No, absolutely not. So that's where you and I are in total agreement. And that's where I would like to stop. It'll be interesting if this gets challenged, Mark, because here's the thing. Who's going to challenge this? I mean, seriously, what? A college kid that likes to gamble? A college athlete who likes to gamble? They're going to 3 to 5 years and the cost involved take the NCAA on over this?
David, I'm because, again, the two big future markets that are Cachet and the other one, and I can't think of the name right now, but they that's not betting. So but their lobbyist would. I mean, the gambling lobbyist would, and that's a very powerful group right now. This future, I mean, the fact that we're allowed to bet on future event. Oh, I'm sorry. Invest in future events is nuts to me.
I agree
The
completely.
fact of the matter is, most of their money, most of these investments are on sports. That's proven. In fact, some of their advertising says you can legally bet on sports. Oh, but I thought it wasn't gambling. And then they say that's just how we market. So these lobbyists, I mean, we all know how powerful lobbyists are in this country. Now, to your point, David, I think in order to change that rule, lobbyists wouldn't do it. And I don't think the lobbyists influence the Supreme Court the way they influence members of Congress. So I do think if they put that ban in, I think it would have a good chance to hold up. I do.
Unless somebody can get it before the Supreme Court, at which point I think it would lose 9-0. Because the judges would just ask the same questions, only it would involve gambling that they asked of the NCAA 3 years ago. And that involved eligibility and payment. They would ask the exact same questions. They would just change 1 or 2 keywords. And I don't know how the NCAA would answer.
And thank you, Javier. Yes, the prediction markets. That's what
right.
The prediction markets.
Right.
And trust me, if I knew how to get a hold of their marketing people and they wanted to invest in Miller and Moulton, I'd take their damn money right now because they're spending it right and left. And I'm in business to make money. We own this show. Trust me, it's why I ask for sponsors. That's how we get paid. We love that you listen, but it doesn't, affect the bottom line. It helps. The more listeners we have, the more notoriety we get, But without advertisers, we go bye-bye. And if one of those prediction market companies said, hey, we're going to take you on for the next year and here's your check, I'm running to the bank. Do I think it's a crock? Yeah.
But we would do a segment every show, maybe 2. Yes, we would.
Hell, we might do a 10 to 10:15 non-sports prediction market segment if that's what they ask. We've been wanting to do that for 19 years.
Oh boy.
So, but you're probably right if it got to the Supreme Court, but I don't know who would take up the case.
I agree. I don't know who's going to take this up. Eligibility? Oh yeah. I think a lot of people are going to take that one on. This one? I just don't see it.
In fact, I don't even know. This is one where even if someone did take it, I don't know how far it would get. Like, I don't know if it would get to the district court or whatever to get to the Supreme Court. Like, the lower courts, it may just get bopped around in that one and never make it. But
That's all right. The state of Florida lost at every level till near the very end, and then they got their monopoly.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Roy.
Morning. How we doing?
Doing well. Doing well.
Glad to hear it.
I'm home for the weekend. I'm hoping that today I find out that I'm going home Friday for good.
Well, that would be nice.
Yes, it has been while I love your city, I have enjoyed Tampa. I'm ready to get out of the Hope Lodge. After a month in Moffett and then 2 months at the Hope Lodge, I'm ready to come home.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But I do look, man, I love Tampa. I could move there tomorrow.
Well, we welcome you.
It's funny, Roy. I joke, but when I go out to dinner at places here, I'm the youngest guy at the restaurant. It's nice to go to a nice restaurant in Tampa and look around and go, I might be the oldest guy in this joint right now. And the traffic, Tampa's big city traffic, it's no different than what it is here.
Yeah, it's that's a bit of a drawback. Traffic's a mess, but
it is in Southwest Florida. I mean, we have it just as badly. We just, we don't have as many roads, but we had just as many cars. It seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, I can't do anything. I can't go to games and shit like that yet. But just, being in a city with it's been a while since I'd been near downtown. Downtown's fantastic now.
Oh yeah, it's you probably didn't recognize it.
No, I didn't. And then obviously there's a lot of other, I'm a food guy, so I've been to a few restaurants and there's so many great spots that I know weren't there the last time I was in Tampa. It's been a while since I've been in here. And if they get that ballpark done.
Oh man, yeah, that will make it so much better.
And I think they're gonna, by all accounts.
If they don't get it done here, well, then you're gonna see the team move somewhere.
Yep.
And not to St. Peter or Orlando either. It'll be Portland or Charlotte or something like that, Nashville.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So you don't think it'd be Orlando?
No, I don't. I think the Florida experiment would end here. I mean, it's look, Miami struggles to support unless they're winning. And I think they probably realize that put it in a city where, it's kind of the only thing.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa, St. Pete. Final hour of the show in Southwest Florida. Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas. Live Oak, Lake City and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Chris Perkins to talk Dolphins in about 35 minutes. We will rip Roy Cummings away from his hobby of watching the Lightning in the Stanley Cup playoffs and the Cubs for 162 games to talk a little Tampa Bay Bucs, the team he still covers for us, certainly here on Miller and Moulton. Hey, man, okay, you're getting an entertaining playoffs, and the Cubs have already wrapped off a 10-game winning streak. I mean, your April's going okay.
I can't complain. I can't, and that Lightning series is just fabulous. I don't know how it's going to end. Probably in 7 games, but it's been entertaining as all get out. So can't complain about that. The whole playoffs have been extremely entertaining for every series, just about.
No doubt. And I had joked with David that my wife's from Pittsburgh, and he had not been doing the Monday night thing. He had not been to Pittsburgh. That was the last stadium he went to, and I'm like, they wear more jerseys than any place you've ever been. And he's like, oh, whatever. And he after the game, he's like, oh my God, you're right. And we joked, that pales in comparison to what's going on in Montreal. I've never seen that many people. Like, they showed crowd shots, and 95% plus were wearing a Habs jersey. I mean, the atmosphere is phenomenal for games, but what's going on in Montreal, that's fun. And you're right.
It is.
I hope it goes 7. I want the Lightning to win, but it has been one hell of a series so far.
It really has.
Roy, when we did a mock draft, we talked about the draft. We talked to people who did mock drafts. there weren't many people that thought Reuben Bain would slide to 15, but the Bucs get him. And I know there are other players that people like in the draft, but the fact of the matter is they got what we think is a premier pass rusher. They won the draft on Thursday, didn't they?
I think they did. I think they won it in a lot of ways. I mean, with that first round pick, I'm like you. I didn't think that an edge rusher would be there of the quality that they wanted or need. And I thought they would just take the best available player because they had a lot of needs. Could have taken a tight end, could have taken a wide receiver to replace Mike Evans, could have taken, an offensive lineman, could have drafted down, which Jason Light likes to do. But when Reuben Bain falls to you, look, guys, for me, he was the most impressive player outside of Fernando Mendoza in the playoffs last year. That kid was just popping off every play. He popped off the screen at you, and you just opened your eyes and said, "Man, that kid can play." And for the Bucs to get that kind of a talent, a kid with that kind of passion, I think it fits everything that they need right now. Opportunity met need, and boy, they pounced on it, and good for them.
It'll be interesting to me because Cansey is a defensive tackle. He's an undersized defensive tackle, but he's a defensive tackle. And there are debates as to where to put Bain. Do you just line him up next to Vita Vea on either side? Okay. Or, is Cansey going to play tackle and Bain's going to be an end? If you know what I mean. Because I'm always fascinated by the really quick defensive tackle. John Randall fascinated me. Justin Tuck was just too fast for guards. Okay. And I know he was an undersized when they put him inside, but they couldn't get their hands on him. So who cares? Okay. And to me, that's going to be Reuben Bain. I mean, what guards who don't have long arms to begin with, what guard is going to manhandle Reuben Bain?
Yeah, I agree. And, look, I don't know that this is going to be part of the plan, but you look at the group now, okay, that they have up front. And there's just a lot of intriguing potential there. They bring in this kid, Muhammad, who obviously, 11 sacks last year. You've added a lot of pieces. Yaya Diaby's look good. I think there's an opportunity here, and I may be completely wrong about this, but I think there's an opportunity here to every once in a while just throw an old-fashioned 4-3 scheme out there and have somebody play under tackle. I don't know if that's doable, but I think they've got the talent for it because you've got legitimate edge guys now like Bain, and you're right. You've got to find a place for him unless you're going to somehow double up at one position. I mean, he can come from a lot of different places, but I would put him where he's most comfortable, probably on the right edge, and fire him off from there. So, but there's just a lot that you can do there now with this group, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Todd Bowles deals with it because he's got so much talent. Well, it seems like he's got a lot of talent. There's certainly a lot of potential here to really get after the quarterback for the first time in a long time here in Tampa.
Well, and I love the idea of Bain and Vita Vea lining up next to one another and potentially, that seems like that's a nightmare for an offensive line.
Yeah.
I'm not an Anzalone guy. I didn't like him in Detroit. I think he makes far too many tackles 4 to 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to be counted on in Tampa, but they did get Trotter, who's a tackling machine as well. I think they're going to have to count on them more than maybe they expect to early. When you look at the linebacker group on a whole, we know what they lost, and it's obviously huge. How good is that group in your estimation?
I was looking at it just before we started up here and just kind of looking at the depth there. And it's to me, it's a lot like the group up front. I just think there's a tremendous amount of potential. Look, you lose Levante David, even, as he was fading, over the course of the last couple of years, his talent wasn't quite as pronounced as it has been. But you bring in Josiah Trotter, and this kid, to me, he reminds me of what Levante David was when he first came to the Buccaneers. A kid who just basically plays downhill. You can blitz him. If you're moving this kid forward towards the quarterback all day, he's going to make a lot of tackles at the line of scrimmage. And I think that's exactly what they need. So this is a kid who's going to push an Anzalone to be better. I agree. I wasn't, I thought it was a nice pickup to get Anzalone, but at the end of the day, I'm thinking, okay, you could probably do better. Well, I'm thinking Josiah Trotter can be better in the long term. How soon can he be better? That may be important for the Buccaneers this year and next. But at this point, I think they've got a player who kind of fits the Levante David mold and has the ability to really become an impact playmaker for these guys on a regular basis.
Josiah Trotter, second-round pick out of Missouri, linebacker. He's Roy Cummings. He covers the Bucs. Follow him on X at r.Cummings FHCN, r.Cummings FHCN. Listen, 6 power 4 guys in the Georgia State wide receiver. That's not uncommon, right? The Bucs like their big boy school guys, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and they also like they don't mind getting kids from. They're not afraid to take a flyer on a kid that didn't get a lot of attention because he played somewhere that you don't see every Saturday afternoon by just turning on ABC or CBS. So yeah, they do. But you know what? I think what they got out of these guys is not only a lot of experience in big show games, playoff games, things like that. I mean, Keontae Scott, those kind of guys. Bain, we talked about, obviously, Trotter. But you got character guys. There's a lot of character with this group. I mean, I could see Keontae Scott, becoming a team captain here in a hurry. They love that kid, and they love what he brings, the energy he brings. He just seems to be a real leadership type of guy, and that's another thing they look for. So, yeah, they definitely look for that that resume that shows that you've played in a lot of big games at a big school and you know the pressure. I mean, you look at the guard they brought in from Notre Dame, same thing, fits the mold. The other defensive tackle from Clemson, all that stuff to me fits. So plus the character. So again, even if you don't necessarily know who these players are, they came from somewhere that is known.
Well, and the kid from Georgia State, for what it's worth, on the top 100 list that I use, and it's not mine, but he was ranked in the 60s. They got him at 84. So he may have been a little bit of value there. I will say, though, Roy, if you were picking in the third round, and I don't know what tight ends were left at that point, I'll plead ignorance here, but there were a lot of good tight ends in this draft. That seemed to be an area they needed to address. They didn't do it until their last pick of the 6th round. Would you have, when you look at their draft, is there anywhere that you said, I would have gone this position here instead of what they did?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with the tight end need. I agree that that's an area they've got to fortify, but they really love Payne Durham, guys. They just think that kid is just a star waiting to blossom, and we'll see if that's the case. The way they build their tight end group here usually is kind of through mid-round, late-round draft picks. Guys you never heard of. Nobody heard of Cade Otton before he came around. And you look back and say, oh, okay, yeah, somebody they picked up in the middle rounds of the draft. Same with Payne Durham. I mean, these are guys that they I think they have a pretty good eye for that position, and they can find the talent late in the draft as opposed to spending a premium pick on it. And I think that's kind of their what they would rather do. It's more their approach. It's kind of like the way teams want to build with the running back room as well. You don't want to spend a first round pick, but you'll happily spend a third. With the Bucs, I think when it comes to tight ends, they don't want to spend a first or second or third, but they'll spend a fourth or a fifth or obviously a sixth and say, okay, we think this kid can develop into a player. And right now they've got time to develop him as long as Cade Otton and Payne Durham stay healthy. I think they're going to be pretty good at that position.
All right, 90 seconds tops. Levante David, Mike Evans, those were the 2 leaders on this team. Okay, where's the leadership coming from?
Well, I think it's coming from a new group, guys. Vita Vea's still got that. There's no doubt. He's probably the new leader on the defense. He has been a leader there for a while. I think he's one of those guys. And I honestly think that as soon as he gets into the starting lineup, and I think he'll be there right off the bat, Keontae Scott's going to make a difference. I just think that's the kind of player he is. That kid has captaincy written all over him. The C's probably already being sewn on his jersey and being tucked away somewhere in Tampa. They'll wait for him to blossom, but that's going to happen. So on defense, those are the guys. And on offense, you know what? It's Baker Mayfield's team. Time to step up and be the man, and I think he will. And that's not a bad guy to follow, guys.
All right, if you were to give a letter grade 30 games into the season to your Cubbies, what would you give them?
um, I'll tell you what. Based on all the trouble that they've had with the pitching staff and all the injuries, I give them a good solid B. I mean, you won 10 in a row. They've had a struggle out here on the West Coast, obviously, but you know what? The power still is yet to come, and it's coming soon. So once Seiya Suzuki and PCA get going, they're going to be just fine.
Roy, enjoy the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs. All right. Good luck to you and your Cubs, and we'll talk around camp.
Thanks, guys. Good seeing you.
Roy Cummings talking Tampa Bay Bucs. Follow him on X at @RCummings FHCN. Chris Perkins to talk the Dolphins in 25 minutes here on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I got two little things here. Unless
Wonderful.
you got
Perfect.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Chris Perkins to talk Dolphins in a little more than 15 minutes time. JP Shadrick to talk Jags coming up at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Hey, I got two things. I know it's not the baseball hour, so I'm asking the court if it's okay if I bring up one thing that happened in the park and one thing that happened, well, inside the park, but the public couldn't see it.
I feel like I've been hornswoggled here during the commercial break. He said, I have a couple of things. Did he mention that they were about baseball?
I did
Hell
not.
No. Hell no.
I
And
did
then he
not.
goes on air. They want to talk about baseball. So go ahead. Have your little baseball talk.
I think you'll like it, though.
I better.
This does. Well, I think you will. So I'm guessing you didn't see it unless you stumbled upon it on social media, because I think we were occupied watching Flyers, Penguins, and Pistons Magic last night. But the Rays, Guardians game. So there was a moment, I think it was the fourth, don't quote me. Guardians left-handed hitter hits a towering opposite field home run. It just made the front row. Remember in Cleveland, they got that huge wall in left field. First row, there's a young girl sitting with her mom and her even younger sister. Okay, Mark, I don't know if she's 10. And she's got her glove. And She kind of catches it. Home run.
Wait a
Guardians.
minute. She kind of catches it.
Well,
you
she
either
gets
catch it
her-
or you don't catch it.
She
Is
gets
it an
her.
out? If she was in the field, is it an out?
No,
Okay.
no. But the ball drops down right by her feet. Now remember, this is like an 8 to 10-year-old girl. She's got the baseball hat on. She's got her glove. Guy comes over from her right, okay, from the other section, because they were sitting in the first 3 seats in the front row of their section, okay, and he was sitting in the first seat of his section.
Right. Gotcha.
Ball hits the ground. She has her hand on it. He out wrestles her for the ball. Rays sideline reporter Ryan Bass sees it, and I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's in the Rays dugout and he's just watching it on a monitor. I don't know if he's somewhere in the stadium, but he goes into the dugout and he gets a baseball.
Okay.
And-
how this is an adult fan, right? This is
Oh, yeah.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
a man.
Yes. Yeah. It is at least in his 40s, if not older.
All right.
Right. And wrestles it away from the 8 to 10-year-old girl who's like right out of central casting. Okay. Hair flowing, baseball hat, baseball glove, baseball t-shirt. Right. So Ryan Bass shows up like an inning later with a baseball from the Rays and gives it to her. And obviously they've got it on camera. And I don't know if he turned his microphone on or not, or if they turned it on for him. I don't know if it happened on the air, but he gave her a baseball. She was almost crying. She was so happy. Well, I guess the people around the guy must have guilted the guys, because like in the 7th inning, I guess the guy went over to give her the ball. But by then, needless to say, the damage was done.
All right. I just watched it.
Okay.
I just watched it. I want to correct something because he missed the ball. The ball hit him in the hands. It bounded to the girl's feet, and then he took the ball.
Oh, okay. I thought it hit her.
I want to get the story right if someone looks it up.
Okay.
But because he's in the basically in the entrance to the concourse.
Right.
She is up 3 stairs in what David perfectly described, like the first 3 seats of the section. The guy is between 2 sections. It hits him in the hands and then goes directly to his left and goes between his feet. He runs over, grabs the ball, and then holds it up like, I'm the man. First off, dude, you dropped the ball. I mean, you suck, okay? You're wearing your Indian shirt, and you know what you played like there? You played like an Indian. You played like a last place guy that they do movies about.
I was going to say, hey, Joe Charbonneau, catch the damn ball.
And then Castellanos hits a home run.
And it's 4-0. Now back to regularly scheduled programming. So anyway, but hats off. And I believe he's in his first year with the Rays. Okay, because they're a longtime sideline reporter. She left. But hats off to Ryan Bass.
Yep.
Way to go.
And in the video I'm seeing, they show Ryan Bass go over, give her the ball, high five the girl. A couple other fans high five him. He wins.
Oh,
he wins huge.
Yep.
This guy, fat Cleveland fan. You know what you look like? A fat Cleveland fan. You know what most Cleveland fans look like?
Oh,
that
here
guy.
we go. See,
that guy wearing your Indian stuff. And I'm not changing. They're the Indians to me.
I knew it. I knew once I asked for the mulligan.
It's one of the fattest cities in the country. I shouldn't knock it. I'd be skinny in Cleveland.
So anyway, hats off to Ryan Bass of the Rays television broadcast team. Way to go, sir. Way to go. Now, quickly.
2 texts right away on that one. It was a large fat guy. And another person said should be 1 year in prison. Yes, I agree.
we would come down harder on him than the NCAA is going to come down on that Texas Tech
You're
quarterback.
damn right we would.
All right, quickly. Did you hear what Paul Skeens did yesterday?
Bought some more of the lingerie that his girlfriend's now advertising.
Nope.
Sweeney's
Well,
company.
he may
By the way,
have.
great get by Sweeney. You're already a super hot young actress. Go get the super hot young influencer to advertise your new lingerie line. Literally, Victoria's Secret stock dropped like 4% the day that Livy Dunn wore the outfit. I mean, good get. Sorry.
Well, he may have, but he kept it to himself. But what he didn't keep to himself, you mentioned it earlier. You love all these young hotshot prospects that are being called up. Well,
Yep.
one of them was the Pirates, the 19-year-old who turned 20 last Friday, Connor Griffin.
Right.
Okay, who also homered on his 20th birthday last Friday. But they were on
Awesome.
the road. So Skeens waited till they returned home. And when they walked into the clubhouse yesterday, okay, he had an inflatable bounce house right in front of Connor Griffin's locker. Okay, and it's a castle. It's a big white castle inflatable bounce house. Okay, for Connor Griffin. And of course, Griffin gets in it and lays in it, and they take pictures and what have you. Now, of course, the funny thing is, Skeens looks 35, but he's 23, and he's buying the bounce house for the 20-year-old.
I'm surprised there's not more video of all of them playing it. I mean, because pro athletes are all little kids.
Yep.
I mean, they get to play a kid's game. And trust me, when the cameras aren't on, they act like little kids. And I mean that in the best way.
And the sport whose athletes act the youngest, baseball, even younger than hockey. They are 12 at heart in a baseball clubhouse. So yes, an inflatable bounce house for the 20-year-old to celebrate his birthday.
And a fat guy from Cleveland.
Ryan Bass. Let's celebrate Ryan Bass.
Absolutely. Another, you know what? I believe we've been very lucky with the Rays. We've had great announcer crews.
Yes.
TV and radio. I've enjoyed their broadcasts for years. They do a great job continuing it on. We'll talk Dolphins with Chris Perkins next.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
The funny thing is, there's a guy that listens to my show that's a diehard Indians fan, and he's not skinny. I was kind of just really giving him grief there. One of the soccer parents. Nice guy. By the way, that dunk last night in the Orlando game was spectacular by Jamal Cain.
Who let who's the guy who's sucking it up for Detroit? Was it Duran?
Yeah.
Who kind of let him know too. Kind of there's more.
Didn't
of
wake
that.
Duran up. Don't worry. It didn't affect him all. He's been a dog this whole series.
I was gonna say he let him know there's more of that where that came from.
This series is showing you how irrelevant the regular season in basketball is. See, I believe Ambi, and I know he's younger. He can make the Sweeney comment. Sonny, I got to be honest, as old as you are, that's creepy. It just is. I think what I said is she's a beautiful young lady, actress. Said the same thing about Livy Dunn. I tried not to say anything creepy. What you have there, that's creepy old man.
Creepy.
There's and I don't know who she is. Apparently, there's a really good blues guitarist, young lady. She's now, I don't know, 18, 19, 20. And she basically is changing all the music that she's playing because of the comments on her YouTube pages from creepy old men. She don't want to play it anymore. The audience has completely turned me off of that kind of music.
Huh.
Yep. You shoot Perk a text. Sometimes he needs a reminder. Oh, there he is.
Has the construction started yet this morning, or is that till 9?
No, they've started. But fortunately, they're like 2 floors below. So yeah, this is going to be a 3-year project. They told us 18 months, but I'm thinking this is going to be a 3-year project. I'm being realistic.
This is like the Orlando construction, right?
Right. Exactly. Everybody who's living in a town with highway construction can relate.
Chris, it was the main reason why I wanted you a little earlier than normal. I'm like, well, maybe we'll beat the construction.
Yeah, you know what? So I'm using the earbuds now, and they tell me on different podcasts that helps. So I'm hoping that does the trick. Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. JP Shadrick will join us then. We'll talk the Jags and their draft, which has been criticized in a lot of circles. Chris Perkins, you know him, Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com. He covers the Dolphins for a living. Follow him on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. Chris, hope all is well. The draft is come and gone. So before we get to what the Dolphins said about their draft, what did you think about their draft?
I thought their draft was decent. I gave them a grade of a B-, and this is after I gave them a D last year. So, I feel a lot better about this year's draft. Now, look, the Caden Proctor pick will start at the top, the left tackle from Alabama. I'm okay with that pick. To me, I think that passing on Caleb Downs at number 11 and passing on Reuben Bain, who went number 15 to Tampa Bay, I think Proctor is going to be a good pro. I'm not really that worried about his weight issues. My concern is, will Caleb Downs or Reuben Bain be better? I don't think Proctor is a boom or bust guy. I wrote that I think that his floor is Jawan James, the Dolphins' number 1 pick in 2014, the right tackle, who had some knee problems, went to Denver, had a decent career. I think his ceiling is Laramie Tunsil, their first-round pick in 2016, a Pro Bowl player, although he didn't make a Pro Bowl with the Dolphins. So I think Proctor is going to be good, but are other guys that they didn't take going to be better? I like Chris Johnson, the cornerback they took at number 30, the other first-round pick, the Jacob Rodriguez pick, linebacker from Texas Tech in the second round. It's a pick of BPA and fostering competition because they're going to be a 4-3 team. So I think Rodriguez is kind of a middle weak side backer, and you've got that in Terrell Dodson and Jordan Brooks. So you're fostering competition. I guess that's good, but a couple of DNs got picked right after him. Zion Young from Missouri, Derek Moore from Michigan. And then the other one would be Colby, it's Colby Young, the wide receiver from Texas Tech, right? Was that I think that's a reach for him. Everything else I'm okay with, but yeah, you could question Proctor, Rodriguez, and Young. I love Chris Bell. I love that pick. Will Kazmarek, I like that pick. The tight end from Ohio State. Bell, the wide receiver from Louisville, who tore UM up, 9 receptions, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's coming off the ACL. B- on the draft. I like that they had conviction and stuck to their guns.
Well, I knew you'd like Bell because when we talked, a month ago, you were like, this guy would be a first rounder without the injury. So I immediately thought of you when they selected Bell. I'm like, well, I know Perk's going to like this guy. I'm going to disagree with you on Rodriguez. I understand your point and other guys there in talent. I think this guy's a machine. Like, I think he's going to be a starter very early by week 5, 6. I think this guy's a starter. I think he's playing 6 to 8 years at linebacker. I think he's that good. So we'll see who's right because we have no idea right now. We had a problem with Proctor. The weight is one issue. Let's keep away from Cuban sandwiches. I think the over-under is 10.5, and I go over. But how much does the kid like football? My biggest worry, and I know he said I'll play anywhere, and he said all the right things, but when Nick Saban's up there talking about you got to have someone keep an eye on him, that scares the hell out of me when you had Bain and you had Downs there and you also had the guard, even if Bain wasn't your guy because of the measurables, you had the lineman from Penn State, who everybody thinks is another surefire 10-year player. So there's a lot on Proctor, and he's already heard it. So we're going to find out, I think, pretty quickly how he handles the negativity because a lot came at him, and these kids can say they don't read the press. They read it, Chris, don't they?
They do, and he's well aware. And I'll say the other thing about Proctor that I pointed out yesterday. He just saying, yeah, we'll slide him to guard. He would be one of the biggest guards in NFL history, along with Mekhi Becton, the Daniel Faela from the New York Giants, who I think is 6'8", 370. Mekhi Becton is like 6'6", 365. Proctor is 6'7", 360. Guards aren't that big traditionally, and I'm sure there's a reason they aren't that big traditionally. So just saying, yeah, we'll move them to guard, I think you have to kind of really examine that. They might be better off moving Austin Jackson to guard, where he played one season, than moving Proctor and keeping Proctor at offensive tackle. The options on Proctor might be a little more limited than advertised.
It sounds like, at least this is the company word, that, Proctor was their guy, highest rated guy, blah, blah, blah. But also, do you think it's insurance? Because, I'm ready to get rid of Austin Jackson.
Yeah.
I know you're not. Okay. But to me, do you think that this is maybe insurance? Because this is his last year under contract, right? That if it doesn't work out, that they'll just let him go and they'll put Proctor at right tackle.
100%. This is insurance, and it is a BPA, but it's a BPA with an ultimate plan to it. And I think there's some wisdom to that. If he really is your BPA, then the insurance, that's a backup reason. That's another reason to take him. I do think that it's interesting. There have been 2 different approaches by the Dolphins, different administrations with the offensive tackles. You guys remember that Laramie Tunsil played guard his first year, rookie year, because Brandon King was Brandon Albert. Wow. Let me get this straight. Brandon Albert was at left tackle. And so he played guard, but with Patrick Paul, you guys remember, they didn't want to move him. They didn't want him to play right tackle. They didn't want him to play guard. They said he's a left tackle. Both approaches worked, right? Tunsil was good. Patrick Paul was good. So I wonder what they do with Proctor and how they use him as a rookie.
Mark, I don't know if you're appreciative of that little malaprop there. Okay, because he went King and his last name was Albert. And I go, ooh, look at him going Albert King. Look at him going a little college hoop, little Maryland action here. Okay, I like that. Okay, but anyway, back to the
Just tells you
Dolphins.
how old I am, right?
Well, and I'm old enough to know who you malaprop. So
I will say one thing from Miller and Moulton's perspective. We liked the draft from this. We were not high on Proctor, but you take away Johnson, who we both like. They had a lot of players. They went big boy schools. You know, we're not big fans of getting the little guy, the non-power 5, power 4 schools. You look down this draft from first round to 7th round, Iowa, Texas Tech, Ohio State, Texas, Pitt, Louisville. I mean, you know, Missouri. They got guys from schools who have played big time football. And for the two of us, you know, we've kind of had one rule. If it's between guy A and guy B, we're taking the guy that played at the big school because we think they're more ready to play at the next level. So from that standpoint, I don't know about you, but we think they made a lot of proper decisions.
Yeah, you know what? I did ask them about that, and they had an interesting comment. They said, you know, it's partly a transfer portal NIL thing also, that yes, Chris Johnson stayed at San Diego State, but Will Kismerick went from Ohio to Ohio State. The NIL and transfer portal, you know, a lot of the top players are not staying at FCS schools. They're, you know, in the middle of their career, once they have success, right, they go to the FBS school, get the money, get the higher exposure. I asked Kasmerick and I said, look, you could have stayed comfortable in Ohio. And he said, I wanted the competition. I wanted to test myself against the best. And you've got to respect that. And I think the Dolphins and other teams look at that also.
Chris Perkins covers the Dolphins for the Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com. Follow him on X at Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Perk, P-E-R-K. 7 picks on Saturday. 2 4th rounds, 3 5ths, a 6th, and a 7th. We went through the first 3 rounds, who we liked, who we didn't, and what have you. Any diamonds in the rough on Saturday in your estimation?
Wow, that is tough to say. You know, probably not. Probably not. I like what they did. You know, maybe Llewellyn, the 7th round edge rusher, will show you a little bit something and make the 53. But you know, Kevin Coleman, the receiver from Missouri, you know, just because of the opportunity, it's a poor receiving core. Maybe he gets a chance, but I'm right at this point. I don't see any diamonds in the rough. I'm looking at the top 3 rounds as the impact players right now.
All right. Pat Kerwin, who comes on our show a lot, kind of grades a draft on how many starters you're going to get. Now, for the Dolphins, there's so many needs that they're going to probably fit that criteria. But when you look at this, how many guys, maybe not even week 1, but by week 5, 6, how many starters are there in this draft for Miami?
Ooh, I think you get a good amount. Proctor will be a starter. Johnson will be a starter. But I think Rodriguez will be a starter. I do think that. You know, and by the way, I like Rodriguez. I just think there's redundancy when you could have gone edge rusher, but they say they want competition in camp, so they stuck to their principles. It's a principal pick, as well as a BPA pick, if you want to say that. Let's see. Those are probably the guys that I'm looking at off the top of my head, right? Who else have we got that could be a starter there?
Any of the
Caleb
3rd round
Douglas,
picks?
yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, Trey Moore and Kyle Lewis. I'm intrigued by those picks just with their versatility. You know, Trey Moore, the edge rusher from Texas, and Kyle Lewis, the linebacker from Pitt. Both of them are probably going to play some sort of hybrid role. By the way, I'll say this. One thing that I've said this before, that I like that Jeff Hafley has said, we're probably going to be a 4-3 defense, but let me see what kind of talent we have. We might play more 3-man fronts. Who knows? Let me see what kind of talent I have. So I'm intrigued by guys like Trey Moore and Kyle Lewis, who are versatile. Let's see what you can do for them. By the way, and I'll say this, guys, I'm not sure they're going to have a wide receiver one this season. And I'm fine with that. Maybe you have 2 2s or a 2 and a 3, and you get wide receiver one next year. I'm happy that they haven't and probably won't force a decision signing like a OBJ type, some expensive free agent or force a draft pick. I think that they're going to show some patience at some of these positions.
Well, I'm glad you went there because quickly I saw a few people mentioning that maybe because the wide receiver group is so weak that the Dolphins get involved in Jawan Jennings. Okay. First off, do they have $10 left to spend? But if they do, you don't see them doing that.
I don't. I see them going training camp cuts in August. And, then, trade deadline, see what you've got. Look, I think I'm not crazy to say this. I don't think they want to be young. If Zach Sealer or Austin Jackson is having a good year by the trade deadline, maybe you could get a 4th-round pick for one of them and don't lose them for nothing. So I think that would be the route that they would go. I don't think they don't have a lot of money. They do not. And I'm not sure that Jawan Jennings would want to be here in a rebuild. I for some reason, I think that after being, in San Francisco, he would, because he's not going to get a lot of money here. If he was going to get a lot of money in the rebuild, I could see him coming, but I think he's probably looking for a playoff caliber team, ideally.
Well, Chris, as always, thank you for your time breaking down the Dolphin draft. I know probably a little bit of work and then maybe a break. Hopefully you got a vacation plan this summer. You can get the hell away from that construction in your condo for a while.
Right. What's funny is I've got F1 this weekend, so don't cry for me. But I've got to immerse myself in F1 starting when I get off of this. So I'm going to be doing some dual duty. We've got Dolphins conference calls with rookies today at 10:30, but I'm also doing F1, so it'll be busy. But again, don't cry for me. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be busy in that way, but it's going to be busy.
Here's all you need to know. Whoever's leading after the first lap has won the race, and you can go and start writing your story and what have you. He's Chris Perkins, covers the Dolphins and whatever else is on the grounds there in Miami. Follow him on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. Chris, as always, all the best. Enjoy your spring.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Chris Perkins, Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com.
Well, I'm surprised. I mean, it's funny. He likes Proctor more than we do. He likes Rodriguez, the pick of Rodriguez, less than we do. I knew he'd love Bell. He was high on Bell going into the draft.
How many people don't like Proctor more than Miller and Moulton?
Nick Saban.
I will say, and I don't know how much time we have, I wondered why. I don't remember Nick ever bad-mouthing a former player. If you remember, Proctor was going to transfer on Nick, okay? He was done with Nick, okay? And then when Nick retired, all right, DeBoer talked him into staying. I just wonder if there's a little something there.
It's possible, but and I think it's a little of that, and I think it's Nick's finally a little more comfortable accepting the fact that he's now in the broadcast business and treating it as such. You can't just kiss everybody's butt. You got to make some tough calls every once in a while, and he did with Proctor. We'll see if JP Shadrick has any tough calls next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com.
Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies for nearly 30 years is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Probably should unmute my mic. Good morning, JP.
You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton. I love that commercial.
How can you not?
Just trying to get some advertising.
I love that commercial.
How are you?
I'm well. What's up, guys?
Last day at home for 3 days. Very excited. Got to come home for the weekend.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's good.
back to Tampa after the show. But
Okay.
hopefully Friday I'm home for good. Begging the doctor today to let me go this week.
That's right.
We've come up with the game plan and everything. He's going to be sitting on the table upright, enthusiastic, answering all his questions. Then he's going to jump off the table and go right down and attach himself below the knee and just start groveling.
Please.
Start groveling. Yep. Okay.
Whatever
Please
it takes
let
at
me
this point. Yeah,
Please let me go home, please.
Nothing's
Right.
beneath you at this point. I just go ahead and do it.
No.
No. Came up. Mark said, I'm going to be on my hands and knees. I go, no, you can't do that when he walks in. When he walks in, you're
Right.
robust,
You're staying
healthy.
there for a while.
Right. Firm
Do a jumping
handshake.
jack or
Look how
two
good
if
I-
you can.
Exactly.
I was thinking about calisthenics when he walks
Yep.
in.
Yeah.
Like Jack Palance doing one-arm push-ups on the floor or something like that. I mean, he
Beautiful.
is right. And go.
All you
right
need is
to
like
the-
2. And then, 99, 100. Okay,
100.
then you're good to go.
Totally. And then go right to clutching the calf.
What's
So any
the
other
what's the
plans
what's the
now?
first stop when you leave? Like, what happens? What do you eat? Like, what are you craving right now? Anything?
I'm able to eat most everything. I've been able to go out to dinner. I can't eat like steak because I can't have anything with medium. I can't have any pink. So whenever I get that clearance will be great. But in Mexican at restaurants, I can't. They don't want me to do any I can't have like chopped up vegetables that aren't done by me. They're worried about bacteria and crap like that. So.
Okay.
But I mean, I've been able to eat, and I've probably broken the rules a little bit. I've gone to quite a few nice restaurants in Tampa.
Shocking! You broke the rules. I would never have guessed.
I've been.
that you-
My wife has been stunned at how good I've been. I mean, literally, I'm going. We just not good restaurant, but I went to Five Guys. I'm like, I need any like if I get a burger or like French fries. Hey, do you guys have packets of ketchup? Because I'm not supposed to use. I mean, like so many stupid rules that I've probably in the last 2 weeks I've maybe had a couple of things that technically the doctor would freak out if I had.
Don't tell if he's listening right now. You're stuck there for a while, so don't even say it.
Not listening to Sports Talk Radio. That I can assure you of. But I laugh because I said, "What's after day 90?" He goes, "Well, you can ease back into driving." I've been driving since like day 30 because my mom's 81. Well, my mother's 81. When she's my caregiver, I think it's a lot safer for me to drive than her.
Totally,
especially in Tampa.
Makes sense.
So I'm like, okay, and I mean, I'm sitting there going, just keep a straight face, keep a straight face.
Wow.
But I do like that. When you call a game one day from USF, that football stadium, when it's done on campus, is going to be nice.
I saw the renderings a while ago. So they're building it. When's it ready?
Yeah, not this fall, next fall.
27. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Like what, 40,000?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it is the Pro Hour, the bonus hour. Miller and Moulton in Jacksonville and Tampa, St. Pete live. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. JP Shadrick, kind enough to join us. We'll just recap the Jags draft. They ended up taking 10 guys, didn't have the first rounder because of the Travis Hunter trade. First off, how you doing?
I'm well. Good morning. Great to be back with you guys as always. And here we are talking about another Jaguars draft. But, this one, the Jags are getting ripped everywhere outside the building, it feels like, for this draft. And, reaching for guys. And it's not the consensus picks and all these things. They picked the guys they wanted. They felt like they'd fit in the right spots for them in the maybe not immediate future, but in the years ahead. And they checked some boxes they needed to check. They wanted to get a couple of tight ends. They did that. And they needed to get a defensive tackle. They did that. They needed an offensive lineman. Okay, they got depth there with Pregnon. So it may not be a sexy, flashy draft. Last year was the sexy, flashy draft with Travis Hunter. This year's the meat and potatoes draft.
I was just wondering if they were only able to access film from Texas A&M.
Whoever the scout is down there had like a field day. I want to see his expense report because this thing is ridiculous. I mean, he's spending all this time in Bryan College Station. Now, they obviously with Borkircher, the tight end, he's going to be more of a blocking kind of tight end, which is fine. And we had a few numbers last year, whatever. Was at Nebraska before that. But, they need that type of guy. And then they get Regis, the defensive tackle, from there as well. And they've got a nose tackle right now in Devon Hamilton, who's playing at a very high level. Okay, this is probably the next wave of that whenever that time comes when it's time to move on from Hamilton or he moves on.
Could you see, though, where it's a fair criticism when people go, well, did you have to draft a blocking tight end in the second round? I mean, this is your highest draft pick. I mean, can't you get that on Saturday?
If you really like the guy and you like the way he plays,
right,
and you like his style,
I got it.
Probably means some other teams that are behind you like him as well. And if you like him that much, don't risk it.
Right.
Go make the pick. So I think that's what they did.
The one thing that I thought they were going to do, and look, they know more than I do. We all know that. But I thought they were going to address the running back position. And it doesn't. Are you comfortable with where they are running the football? I'm fine with linemen. I've said on this show for years. I'm not going to try to critique someone's pick of linemen. They know a hell of a lot more than I ever will about that. But I thought a running back, with losing Etienne, I thought that they would go out and find another running back, whether it was third, fourth, fifth round. That surprised me. what were some of their answers regarding that, if they discussed it at all?
Well, a quick point about the offensive line here, the guard. You don't get better and deeper at the offensive line unless you draft the offensive line at some point. I mean, so they didn't really do that last year. So they did. They got Milam in there, but he was banged up, didn't play. He'll be back in the mix this year, and he got pregnant. I mean, so they've got another wave of guys coming to make moves on the offensive line when they need to. In terms of the running back room, they got Rodriguez from Washington, who they really like his style of play and what he can do between the tackles. I was with you. I thought they'd probably get somebody mid-round somewhere in there. But hey, if this is, they can roll the ball out right now and play, and that's kind of the whole idea. I think, at least coming out of a draft or going into a draft, really, can we roll the ball out right now in the parking lot and line up against another team? And going into the draft, yeah. Okay, well, in that case, let's bolster some spots we need. And then you got some depth and some jars on the shelf, as they say, right, that you can use later. But if you can't answer that question and you got to go pick a guy to start, then you better have some high picks to do it, because it's going to be difficult sometimes for later round guys to really stand out. Now, if you haven't done that in free agency yet, if you have those holes, you're probably going to free agency more immediately to get starting caliber players, which is what the Jaguars did in year one last year. Didn't have to do it this year because they did it a year ago.
JP Shadrick, Touchdown Radio Network College Football, Westwood One for NFL football, the Jags Radio Network. Follow JP on X at JP Shadrick, SHADRICK. Okay, the reason they got bounced in the wild card round was that when push came to shove and they had to stop Josh Allen, they couldn't. How better off do you think they are in the fourth quarter if they had to face Josh Allen again this year?
Well, let's take a look, right? I mean, they've got two defensive linemen. They got Albert Regis, the defensive tackle. They got Wesley Williams, defensive end. He's going to be a rotational type guy. I mean, he's a fourth-round pick. He's got to really go prove it in training camp, too. You got to throw him out there right away. But then they have the corners should be back. And they were missing their top two corners in that game as well. Jordan Lewis was out. Travis Hunter was out. Travis Hunter should be back. Jordan Lewis should be back. I saw him walking around the building the other day. So that's a good sign. They've got Caleb Ransaw coming in the secondary, who was out all of last season. He was drafted last year. They love him at safety. Jarian Jones is back at nickel. I mean, they've got parts that were not on the field in that game that should be back. So if their full arsenal's out there, I think they can compete with guys like that. It was the big plays. They couldn't get pressure on Josh when it really mattered, and he could load up the deep ball against backup corners. That's really what it comes down to. So they feel like, at least right now. Now, we'll wait till June 1. Some other guys might get released and things can happen. You can sign some veteran guys later. There's going to be guys on the field that they didn't have in the playoffs last year that they're very confident in.
Obviously, last year they came out of nowhere because people were not expecting a 13-win season out of Jacksonville. After a 13-win season, you can't sneak up on anybody. There's a difference between a first place and a fourth place schedule. And the other side of this, JP, is that overnight this division got pretty damn good. I mean, Indianapolis, before Jones got hurt, they were 8-2. Houston's got arguably the best defense in the league. I mean, all of a sudden, when you look at the AFC South, you go, damn, this is a pretty good division, and Tennessee didn't get worse.
No, they didn't. I mean, they could only get better because it's hard to get worse than what they were, right? I mean, now we've been there too. So glass houses, better be careful with that. No, but Houston, you're right. The defense, and they just got better on defense. I mean, they just keep drafting guys on defense. So, okay, you know what's going to happen there, feels like. So, yeah, it's what it is. This is a Jags team that, you know what? It's not a fluke. I don't think it's a fluke because flukes are, you got the bounce of the ball the right way 4 times and you won by a field goal in the last second, and it just kind of worked out down the stretch. They were dominating teams down the stretch. I mean, 2-score wins pretty much every week after they lost that game in Houston. And so it was not a fluke, and that's what they're banking on right now.
And they beat a lot of good teams last year.
They certainly did.
They beat a
There
Broncos.
was-
They beat a Chief team.
They went to Denver when nobody thought you could go to Denver and beat the hell out of Denver. So, okay.
Yes, they did. And their announcement to the league was the Monday night game against the Chiefs, when the Chiefs were still the Chiefs, also not the team post Thanksgiving. And I guess that's the big question. And don't have to tell you, you've been there, darn near 15 years. You've seen teams that were good one year that couldn't back it up. And I mean, the one team was 6 minutes from the Super Bowl. It was a correct call by the officials away from going to the Super Bowl. And they didn't back it up with a damn the next year. And I guess, is that on the players? Is that on the coaching, to come back with the, not all shucks, we're happy to, but damn it, we're really good and we're kicking everybody's butt again, because Jacksonville seemingly hasn't been able to do that since Coughlin.
Well, let's remember. Let's go briefly through history. So 2017 was that team you're speaking of, right? It was Doug Marrone. It was Blake Bortles, Leonard Fournette, that wild defense, Saxonville.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really good. I would put a lot of that one on, yes, the players. There's a lot of player issues on the defensive side of the ball that year going into 2018, and a little bit on the administration as well.
Okay.
They re-signed a couple guys that I don't think played well in the locker room. But as a player in the locker room, why do you care? Just play better and get your contract. But you're not going to argue with those
Right.
guys. Like, there were some head cases in that locker room. Jalen Ramsey's
Fair
in that
enough.
locker room. I mean, it just went downhill and melted down, and that was over. 2022,
Doug
injuries, Doug Peterson. But injuries happened that year. I mean, they were 8-3, and then they got banged up, and they had no juice left.
Okay.
That's it. So I don't know who to blame for that one. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence is out there, they probably win 2 more games and win the division. But they didn't. They only won 1 down the stretch.
Okay, then who does the pressure fall on this year? Because I do agree with David. He said it a while back. This is a big year for the Jags to back up what – it doesn't mean they have to win 13 games. But they can't go backward too much, if you know what I mean. So who's the pressure on this year? Is it on Trevor? Is it on the coach? Is it on everybody? Where do you see the pressure line heading into the 26th season?
I don't think there's anybody in the building that doesn't feel it. I mean, it's just what it is. You go out there and win 13 and run off the win streak you did at the end of the year and win the division year 1. Okay, that's the standard. So you're right. You can win the division with 10 or 11 wins and be a better team, actually, a lot of times in a lot of ways. What is the standard? Is it the wins? No, it's the year after year in the division, in the race, winning the division, getting deeper in the playoffs every year. That's the goal. And, to me, if they're not a division champion, okay, it's a step back. This is what it is. They won the division last year. But it's a tough division. Get in the playoffs, be in the mix in December, see where the ball bounces then, be a really good football team, and you don't have to worry about the bounces as much. It's like they were last year, right? So that's where they are. I think it's on everybody. Liam's going to feel it. The quarterback's going to feel it. A defense, all those high-paid guys over there, they're going to feel the pressure too when it comes down to it in December. And how do they handle it?
All right, 15 seconds. Where are you going on vacation?
New Orleans this week for Jazz Fest.
Nice. Very jealous. Good for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, safe
A lot of
travel.
great acts as always. That's an amazing week of shows. So enjoy that. Who's the band you're most looking forward to seeing?
Well, Tedeschi Trucks, and then Widespread Panic, and then the Eagles, and then there's a ton every single day, 4 days.
JP Shadrick, Westwood One, and the Jags Radio Network. JP, as always, safe travels and thanks.
Love you guys. Thanks.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You're such a tease. Cats are horrible. They just are. Comes by, brushes me with the tail. pet me. Hey, come on. No, I'm not going up. I just want you to pay attention to me for a second. They're just horrible. They're horrible creatures, aren't you?
They're very selfish.
I can respect that.
I can relate to it. I can respect it.
As an only child, I get it.
All right. Thank you, Javier.
Magic talk tomorrow.
Seth and Magic Talk. Pat and Derby Talk Friday. At least at one Derby guest on Thursday also.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day one. Some final thoughts. All coming up. Gut feeling right now. They won 13 games last year. Over under 10.5.
Ooh, I love where you put it. If I had to bet that, I would probably bet under. I think they're a 10 or an 11 win team.
I think because, although I haven't seen over-unders lately, but there are usually very few teams that get double digits in the NFL. Now, with 17 games, maybe that's been amended a little bit for a few more. But, JP, I thought, made the point about the Jags that they could be a better team this year and only win 10 games.
Totally.
Because the division around them, they may not catch the Colts when Daniel Jones isn't playing. And, they caught the Texans early in the year when late in the year they were, plus they blew. Here's the funny thing. I mean, Jacksonville was damn close to being the 1 seed. They blew that 3-score fourth quarter lead in Houston, and then they didn't lose another game. If they hold on and win that game, they're the 1 seed. I mean, that's how good they were last year.
Yep. And 9.5's their over under, by the way, on the Hard Rock app.
Well,
for what it's worth. They play the AFC North this year. Road games in Baltimore and Cincinnati. Obviously, their division. They play at Dallas, which looks to be their crossover game, at Tennessee, at Chicago, at Denver.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question, which I know will initially sound absurd, which will only be about the 4th or 5th absurd thing I've said this show. But it's a serious question. Tougher division, AFC North, AFC South.
Actually, I don't think it's a dumb question. I think it's a great question. Let's rank them. I mean, let's start there. Who do you think right now is the best team in the AFC South? Because I think we would both vote Baltimore without question in the North. Maybe you wouldn't. Based on that pause, you don't agree with me. That's a first for this show. I mean, by first, I mean 18th time since 7 o'clock this morning.
No, I would agree with you, but I don't think they're the team, like last year at this time, I'm like, that's the best roster in the league. I ain't thinking that now about the Ravens. I think the Ravens have lost a lot.
Right, but I'm just saying in the division. Would you say they're the best team?
Yes, I would still put my $20 on the Ravens.
I think we would rank them the same. I think Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Is that how you would stack them?
I would.
Okay. I think Jacksonville and Houston are 1 and 1A. I don't think there's a hell of a lot of difference between those two teams. And I think the sum of those two teams is greater than the sum of Baltimore, Cincinnati at this point in time. Without playing a game, I'll take those two teams. Cincinnati hasn't proven a damn thing to anybody. They had one good year with Joe Burrow, and then he gets hurt. Their defense sucks. I mean, until they do something on the field, can we quit this Cincinnati Bengal crap?
Well, it was 2 years. I know what you're saying, but yeah, they haven't backed it up. What was it, 21 and 22? So it's been long enough now, which it's like, that seems like forever ago. A lot of people have been fired between then and now. So, okay.
So then you got Indy and Pittsburgh.
Right.
I mean, that would be, that's the threes.
Right.
I think that's a decent game.
I agree. And then I think Cleveland's roster is better than Tennessee. Okay. I just still don't know who's going to play quarterback for Cleveland.
And who's the better coach right now? I mean, are we going to trust Moulton as the head coach in Cleveland? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, are we trusting Saleh as a head coach?
More than Moulton, because he's done it. He now is going back. He failed, went back to San Francisco. This is take two. A lot of coaches have done better at take two. We don't have to list all of them.
So that's not a ridiculous question.
No, I think it's a great, David. I think it's so good it might be the poll question tomorrow.
Because if you had said that out loud at any other point this decade,
century,
you get laughed right out of the building.
I'm telling you I know there might be a year where it panned out that they were, but spend 5 minutes while you're waiting for one of your doctor's appointments today and go through the century, and you can text me what years the South ended up being better than the North.
Yeah, I mean, we probably, do you go back to Peyton? Is it possible during an Andrew Luck 2014 or thereabouts? But, yeah, I mean, it feels like at least a decade.
Right, because even with the Manning and Luck, you always had a Baltimore and Pittsburgh thing going on.
Well,
always.
Right. And Marvin Lewis always had the Bengals competitive. They just didn't win in January, but they got the January. So, yeah,
and Jacksonville and Cleveland were bringing up the rear most years. They were. And that's why when we talked to JP, that's why David has been saying this since the season end. He lives in Jacksonville. I love JP not only agreeing with you, but saying everybody there knows it. The pressure that's on this organization. I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to say that word this time of year. Organization.
Gotcha.
The NHL playoffs are going on.
Right. And even here in Jacksonville, they do have a minor league hockey team and they're paying attention. So, yes, I appreciate that. I just thought, if you really think about it, and even if we go back to how they finished in the standings last year, let's just go, Pittsburgh, draw the arrow across to Jacksonville. Well, last year it was laughable. This year, right now, who would you take, Steelers or Jags to win more wins?
Jags.
Okay. Ravens finished second, right? Texans. Who would you take right now, more wins?
Probably the Texans.
It's a good one, though. But, yeah.
It is. It's very good.
Okay. So now you go Bengals against the Colts. Who would you take right now? Who would you take?
I'd lean Bengals.
I think I'd lean Colts.
Bengals over under 9.5, by the way. Colts over under 8.5. I mean, even Vegas thinks this is really close.
And then obviously you got Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm guessing the Browns over under is a game higher than the Titans.
6.5 for the Browns. Well, this is a fun game. I'm really enjoying this, David. 6.5 for the Titans.
Oh, look at that.
Steelers
So-
over under 8.5. Jags 9.5. Baltimore 11.5.
Oh, wow.
That's very high on the board. That's going
that
to be
is
higher than
filthy.
Houston. Houston's 9.5. Baltimore, I don't have them all printed. I got to go one by one. I'm guessing Baltimore is as high as anybody in the league.
So
What's
this
interesting, as you say that if we were to rank the AFC 1 to 4 by divisions, I think you and I would both agree that the AFC West is the best division.
Yes.
And the AFC East is the worst, or is the I mean, I think it has to be with Miami and the Jets. But you do have a team that went to the Super Bowl and the Bills in that division.
Correct. But yet the other two teams combined may not win 8 games.
Right.
Right.
I think that would be fourth. And then who's second or third? It's worthy of a poll question. It truly is. And I'm not messing with you.
So that's all. Just wanted to throw that out there. I thought it was a reasonable question. Finally. Also shows, quite frankly, the slippage in the North. A lot of those teams living off reputation. Like your disgust with the Bengals there. It's like, hey, enough, Joe Burrow. Start winning games again.
Thank you. I mean, we just seem to give the Bengals every benefit of every doubt. They've got to prove it. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when what's on tap. It's what we do next.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I didn't realize we didn't really have Roy on because they didn't make the play. Oh, David's not even listening. It doesn't matter. So I didn't realize, Roy sent me a really nice text. He wasn't on after the first of the year, so he had no. When I dropped Hope Lodge, I threw him for a huge loop this morning.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just kind of the assumption everybody's aware now, but Perk wouldn't be aware either. Because I put very little on X because I don't put very much on X anyhow.
Golly.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done. Top of the hour, we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Seth Everett will be on the show tomorrow. We'll head to Detroit, preview Game 5, Magic and Pistons. Is Orlando going to pull off the shocker?
I don't think they do it tomorrow, but I'll tell you, they have, outside of the third quarter in Game 3?
Game 2.
Game 2, I'm sorry. Outside of the third quarter in Game 2, wins Orlando not been the better team in this series? Or at least equal, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they've had one really bad quarter out of 16.
I have to get to a text before I do my thing here, David. And it is something I should probably apologize for. but I can start by saying I'm not going to.
Okay.
2 texts from the same person. The first one simply says, wow, not like Cleveland doesn't catch enough crap from everyone else. Now I have Miller and Moulton doing it. Well, it was just Miller. It wasn't Moulton. David was actually on your side. And I said, find the video and tell me I'm wrong. He said, about the guy, I agree it was wrong. Don't have to call him fat, and especially lumping Cleveland fans all into one. We are great diehard fans. I will agree with that. You are great diehard fans, and sometimes you would question why, because they've not given you much. But I'm going to stick with the fat part. Just want to let you know.
About the guy.
No,
right?
no. About Cleveland fans in general.
Oh, okay.
My favorite scene from Major League, David. The celebration comes in the movie. And I want everybody the next time they see the Indians win and Jake there hugs the girl and the 2 guys hit each other and hug. There is a shot of the crowd, and before she comes out of the stands there is a humongously large fan of the then Indians. Why would they put him in if it wasn't like a truth?
Oh, boy.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1945 today. This is for you, David. I wanted to get this out of the way.
Okay.
The Italians kill Mussolini. They were trying to flee the country to Switzerland, and they shot Benito Mussolini and his mistress. Both go down, goes Mussolini. Ali refused his induction to the army and was stripped of his title today in 1967. Today in 1973, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon hits #1 on the album chart. It would stay there for just 1 week, but it would set the record for most weeks on the chart, 880. If it wasn't for getting locked in their hotel, we may have never heard of this band. But after being locked in their hotel in Tokyo, the vibe started to spread on this band in 1978. The band was Cheap Trick. The album was Live at Budokan. And the hit, I Want You to Want Me, came from that live album.
A monster live album.
Oh, yeah. And that was like an encore song that they had very rarely played. It's a really remarkable story. I don't think it's out anywhere but YouTube, but there is a great video on the whole story behind Cheap Trick Live at Budokan that's worth watching if you're a music fan. A couple days after Chernobyl, the Soviets announced that it happened today in 86.
Reluctantly.
Right. 2 days after it happened.
Right. The one guy was lime and the other guy was bright yellow. No?
I think you're close, and maybe 3 eyes. I'm not sure.
Right.
Today in 87, the NBA announces its expansion to Charlotte and Miami for 88 and Minneapolis and Orlando for 89. That same day, the Bucs with the first pick take Vinny Testaverde. Arguably the cheapest hit in hockey history happened today in 93.
Dale Hunter?
Dale Hunter hits Pierre Turgeon after he scored. Islanders beat the Capitals. Turgeon scored the goal, circles around the net, and Hunter just levels him with both arms over his head and said he didn't know that he scored.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
And Dale Hunter had such a glowing reputation at that time, too.
Today in 94, Warren G releases his debut single, Regulate. It's an awesome track. It really is. And the fact that I have a buddy that can sing it word for word still cracks me up. Apple Music launched the iTunes store, or Apple launched the iTunes store today in 03. First place we could really get music. It was first available only to Mac users, and then it was available to everybody. 2007, Jamarcus Russell, the first pick by Oakland. How did that work out?
Well, and this is the thing. That was the last time the Raiders had the number 1 pick of the draft. So 19 years later, it's Fernando Mendoza, and no one thinks that any quarterback is going to have as bad a career as Jamarcus Russell. But if you're a Raiders fan, things have gone so well for you for a quarter of a century. You're like, don't tell me that's the last time we had the number 1 pick, please.
Cam Newton in 11, first pick by the Panthers. Jared Goff, first pick by the Rams today in 2016. James Monroe, our 5th president, and Lamborghini would have both celebrated birthdays today. James Baker, the oldest living Secretary of State, is 96 years old today. Jay Leno, 76. Hal Sutton, 68. Hall of Famer Barry Larkin is 62. John Daly, 60. Kicker Pete Stoyanovich, 59. Nicholas Lindstrom is 56. Penelope Cruz, 52. Jessica Elba, 45. I'll go Elba over Cruz. Close. Blake Bortles is 34. Corner Denzel Ward, 29. And Anthony Volpe, who would not make this list if he played for any other team but the New York Yankees, is 25. What did I miss, David?
Oh, you got that right. So,
I mean, would we even, like Volpe, if he wasn't a Yankee, no one would know who the hell he is?
no, not at all. Arguably, he's had a very Jamarcus Russell-like career.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Little better because, well, it's tough to have a career as bad, boy.
Yeah, I'm going to give the edge Volpe there, but I know where you're going. I mean, Purple Drank, that didn't work out very well.
No, and it also showed you just how good Jimbo Fisher was because he was his offensive coordinator at LSU and then left to go be the offensive coordinator at Florida State before he got the job, blah, blah, blah. But he and Les Miles as head coach, they got Jamarcus a Heisman. A Heisman! Unbelievable.
Miss anything?
No, you got it all.
I figured, that Mussolini, I bailed you out.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was going there. And Mr. Lamborghini would have been 110.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Marion County for the good today, where what would have been an awful turned out to be okay. A family renting an Airbnb dialed 911 because a 2-year-old boy fell in the pool when it's unable to breathe. The sheriff's office and its deputies responded. Body camera footage shows 2 deputies rendering aid to the 2-year-old who was lying on the patio. The deputy provided rescue breaths, placed the boy on his side to get the water out. He eventually begins to cough up fluids. According to the body camera footage, he was transported to a hospital where he was stabilized. Great job, officers. Great job. For the bad, we go to South Africa, where marathon fraud, David, marathon fraud. 2 female runners swapped bibs with 2 male runners, and now all have been disqualified and will face bans from the event. What's funny to me is the 2 women who swapped their bibs with the 2 men, the men just finished in the top 10 of the women's race at 7th and 10th. Apparently, the annual 2 Oceans race is one of South Africa's most iconic marathons. It includes an ultra marathon and a half marathon. It attracts over 16,000, and finishing in the top 10 is a pretty big deal. For the ugly, we come back to the Sunshine State, where a Christian leader who announced he had a new wife on Facebook, is in a little bit of hot water. The problem is he already had a wife, and in Florida, it's not legal to have 2. Leslie Williams updated his profile on social media to married, even posting a picture with his new wife and a caption, "Thanks for all the wonderful comments," referencing my saved, beautiful, and talented wife. She is saved for real Praise God. Turns out he had multiple wives, and when cops visited the home, they spotted him, and he was arrested and taken into custody for bigamy. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, April the 28th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, overtime, and other jobs available. You can make up to $100,000 being a new officer in Cape Coral, Florida. For more information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
So do we have to add another box? Married? Yes. No. Some say separated. Now do we have to have yes, but it's complicated?
Is that the Vrabel answer? It's complicated?
Oh, not even going there.
Okay.
Not even going there.
I will. I'd do a whole show on it. I think it's the people defending, anybody defending him, it's laughable. Counseling for what? Getting caught? Come on.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Give
no,
me a
that,
break.
yeah,
Give me a break.
We both, that's crap.
Give me a break.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's real people in need of real counseling. That's crap.
Counseling's a wonderful thing.
Yep.
Therapy is a wonderful thing. Know lots of people who rely upon it.
Yep.
Not knocking the job, not knocking the people who do it.
Nope.
This is like people who say their Chihuahua is a service dog. I mean, come on now.
Major League Baseball. There were only 8 games last night. Everybody's playing today. All 15 games. There is a nationally televised game. Is this a battle of first place teams? No. Detroit at Atlanta? It's on TBS at 7:15.
Detroit is not in first.
Oh.
They slipped out of first place. No, they are. I'm sorry. I thought Cleveland. No, they are in first. They are the only team above 500 in the AL Central, with Cleveland losing last night to Tampa Bay.
So a battle of first place teams. The Tigers at Braves, 7:15 on TBS. The Rays continue their series in Cleveland, and the Marlins continue their series in LA against the Dodgers. Another 6:10 Rays Guardians start, Mark.
Love it. You know I love those 6:10 starts.
Well, considering Bruins and Sabres don't start till 7:30 on TNT, you can get in half that game.
I go back to one television tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wild and Stars, 8 o'clock ESPN2.
Oh, can't wait. Cannot wait.
Ducks and Oilers, 10 o'clock on TNT. NBA, Hawks and Knicks get NBC at 8 o'clock in prime time. The other 2 games get ESPN, Sixers and Celtics, and Blazers and Spurs, the home teams, Boston and San Antonio, trying to wrap up those series. Buffalo trying to win their first playoff series since 2007 tonight. Think
After the way Boston played in Game 4, you know they're going to come out a lot harder.
Apparently,
but I don't know if it's enough.
I don't know either, but apparently their practice yesterday was spirited, to say the least. Apparently they did everything but drop the gloves at the Bruins practice yesterday. So we'll see.
I don't know if it's enough. I mean, defensively, they're not a great team. Buffalo, when they get it going, they're young, they've got speed, they've got goal scorers. So we shall see. We shall see.
Think about it, though. 19 years since they've won a playoff series. You have like guys in their mid-20s that can't remember the Sabres ever winning in the playoffs.
I know. Win tonight. Do it at home. Seriously. Yes. If you're going to win the series, can you do it tonight? Do it for your fans at home. We'll talk some Magic tomorrow. Seth Everett will join us on the show tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.